Hey, shitheads! Welcome to Cyborg New Gods. I'm your game master, Dale, and I'm gonna be taking you dreckheads, you gutter punks, on a trip through the worst city in the world. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to do some good in this shithole. This is a Cyborg actual play podcast using the Cyborg OSR rules, available on DriveThruRPG or from Free League Publishing. Let's get right into it. Punks. You've come this far. I didn't think you would. Somehow you've continued to subvert my expectations. I thought you'd be bleeding to death in the gutter 5-6 sessions ago. And here we are. Not quite at the end, but you can see it from here. And indeed you can see it from here. This is Act 1 of our endgame as we close in on Allianson's Project Old Gods. Discover what fate it has in store for Psy and the world in general. And we begin to put our minds to the question of whether or not you're capable of stopping it. Just another day inside, am I right? So, it's been a couple of days since you've tracked down Johnson and gave him what he deserved and pledged your services to Vera Coilings and the Collective. Promised that you would be there to answer the call for that one final job. It's only been a few days, and yet it feels like a lifetime. Life is never simple in Psy, but over the last 48 hours, ammo being triple the price has led to the security corporations appropriating munitions and firearms from the city's populace. And the kind of people who own guns in Psy haven't taken kindly to that. The riots still have parts of the city locked down. Mostly the hills and the in-betweens. For the most part, the slums and the ports have been left to their own devices, and the streets have turned into a battleground between the Sec Corps and the punks, drug runners, and gutter trash who are willing to fight for their right to exist. The news cycle's already begun to move on to the next big thing. That is the introduction of a brand new soft drink on the market, Water 2 new formula. But the crisis is still winding down. And it's to a backdrop of gunfire, explosions, and plumes of smoke mixing in with the usual neon signs and streams of ads in the night sky that we join you today. Paradigm. Yeah, Water 2, it's got that H2, oh yeah! Paradigm, did you manage to pay to get your motorbike fixed up?
I am not entirely sure how much that is. I don't think so.
That would have cost you, let's say 300 credits.
Oh, then yes, he has.
Yeah. So, you're screaming down one of Psy's many packed highways. Merged into a line of traffic that slowly but steadily makes its way over Oath Lake like a blood clot pushed through a blood vessel. Down into Dreams by Kartel, one of the most remote, poorest parts of the city. Once upon a time, Dreams by Kartel was supposed to be the Hills Light, a place for the corporate drones to invest in their future, in the great dream of home ownership. And then the Kartel Corporation completely folded, leaving an entire section of the city utterly abandoned, with half-finished housing tenements, empty blocks of land, and streets that had yet to be paved, ready to be infested by the gutter trash and the less fortunate. There are two reasons why you're in this remote part of town today. The first is that Dreams by Kartel, due to its remoteness, seems to have been spared the majority of the violence that's currently sweeping through the city. It's been a good place to lie low. The second? Well, you're here on work. As you crowd in the back seat of Jonathan's stolen taxi, as the recently installed autopilot module carries you over the bridge across Oath Lake, and Paradigm's newly repaired Harley screams along outside the window. A message from Vera Coiling's collective blinks on your REDs. It's short, simple, and to the point. Tell me if this sounds familiar. A group of rich fucks kidnaps vulnerable, poor, and homeless, forcibly addicts them to mind-altering drugs, and rips their minds from their bodies in an attempt to commune with some higher power, in the process trapping their consciousness in a never-ending digital nightmare. Attached are the coordinates to what the Allianson data dump refers to as a RIP lab. What used to be one of those old blockchain entertainment parlors repurposed to more nefarious ends. This seems to be where most of the research into Project Old Gods is being carried out. You have 3 objectives. Find out what the fuck is going on. Put a stop to it if you can. And if anyone is still alive, is still capable of wanting to be rescued from this torment, get them out of there. 2,000 creds to your debt, if you've got one, plus 1,500 in your pocket. There is no option to accept or deny the message in the RED. Once you've read it, It simply blinks away into your inbox. You're already committed to the cause. And that's why you're here, making your way to the coordinates of the so-called RIP Lab. As you descend down into dreams by K-Fel, a little plastic bobblehead grey alien dances on the dashboard of the stolen taxi. A memorial to your friend Squelch. His life was short, but it brought you all so much joy. The bobblehead was actually Ghost's idea, something to remember Squelch by. But Kitty assured you that it wasn't necessary. That Squelch is still there.
He's still part of the crew. He's just at a different station right now. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Perhaps Squelch is there in all your hearts. He'll be watching from wherever it is. Little goopy grey aliens that are made out of reappropriated nano-infested foodstuffs go after they die. He'll be watching you and hoping that you manage to pull through and get this one done without getting burnt. So, the Mind Rip facility. The coordinates sent by the collective lead you to the southern, most remote part of Dreams. Today, nothing but vacant buildings and cars wrecked beyond salvage. But back in the good old days, this part of town was a leaping off point for many sci-tech startups and business ventures. As the stolen taxi and the motorcycle roll into an empty, weed-choked parking lot, and you climb out, your boots crunching down onto the cracked, crumbling concrete and asphalt, you notice that the area seems completely deserted, but you can't shake off the feeling that you're being watched. The target itself is a blocky building dating back to the turn of the last century. Most doors, windows, and storefronts have either been boarded up or busted out. Above the entrance, there's a barely legible signboard with the venue's name. Triassic VR and Non-Fungible Gallery. 7D experience, decorated with exotic jungle leaf patterns. It's completely dark inside and impossible to see through decades of dust that have accumulated on the windows. The main entrance double doors are locked with a thick chain and padlock. But since when has that ever been a problem for the likes of you? What's the plan, punks?
Well, first I'm saying we should go all the way around and survey all ends of it. Make sure we aren't missing up something obvious. Or so there ain't a corporate SWAT team around the back ready to go booga booga and jump out when we enter. You know. Just a little case in the joint, as it were.
This place does not look like a top-secret black site. It looks like an old VR parlor that's been closed down for decades. But it pays to be cautious, and looking over your shoulders, even though this part of town seems completely deserted, Old window panes flap in the wind, roof tiles sag and hang, and the streets are strewn with debris, old wiring, rusted out cars. There are no signs of life, but again you feel that unshakable sense that you're not alone here. Ghost smiles, winks at you all, and waves her right hand through the air, and instantly an old blueprint of the building pops up in the bottom right-hand corner of your REDs, preparing you for the task ahead. As Kitty leads you around the perimeter of the building, I'd like everybody to go ahead and make a presence investigate check for me.
And she'll grapple up to the roof briefly to take a look up there, just to make sure.
Sure thing. In which case, you don't have to make your roll.
Oh, okay.
That is a 14 for me.
That is a 3 for me.
3 for Ghost and Paradigm.
17 for Paradigm.
So, you fan out, start making your way around the perimeter of the building while Kitty unleashes her grappling hook, lassos an old decoration, an outline of a T-Rex made out of metal wire hanging off the edge of the roof, and hoists herself up onto the top of the old building. The sense of being watched gets stronger and stronger. And Kitty, you're the first to see it as you grapple up onto the building's black tar-covered surface that is its rooftop. You notice that it's spiked with rusty antennae and vents of various shapes and sizes, most of them too small to fit in. 2 vents exhaust large amounts of scalding hot vapor that you narrowly dodge as you scramble up onto the rooftop, and in amongst the forest of bent, warped antennae, you see something moving, something that seems to be the source of that implacable sense of being surveilled. Some sort of robot. By the looks of it, maybe a crawler drone. Something with spindly spider-like legs. It quickly scurries down one of the vents. The iron grating breaking open with a loud crash as it disappears into the bowels of the building. The rest of you on the ground floor hear the crash of breaking metal, and your eyes turn to the rooftop, and then all of you, including Ghost, because this was a group check, see what seems to be a face. A face shrouded in shadow. A man with a look of utter terror and pain written into his features, watching you from the pitch black darkness inside one of the boarded up windows. And as soon as his eyes lock with yours, he opens his mouth in a silent scream. And then he retreats into the darkness.
This place be haunted?
No more haunted than anywhere else have been.
You'd be surprised how many haunts there are out there. Alright. Well, we ain't getting surprised. Kitty hops down to the others. Might as well go and keep an eye out for a spider bot we're gonna need to squish at some point.
Yeah, alright.
Ghost, Paradigm, and Jonathan. Around the back of the building, you find an old maintenance ladder that allows you to gain access to the rooftop. The thing's sagging under its own weight. The rungs are flecked with rust, and it barely looks like it'll support your weight. But it's the only obvious means of accessing the rooftop. Meanwhile, Kitty, brandishing your weapon, cautiously looking around, trying to eye that spider bot again before it gets the drop on you. You notice in the very center of the rooftop, there's a square hole. Looks like it used to be an old skylight, but the glass has been removed, leaving only the rusted window frame. It seems to lead straight down into the building's internal courtyard.
I should go to the smoking area, looks like.
Indeed. It's definitely big enough for you to gain access to the building this way, but the courtyard that you can see from up here is a big open area with little in the way of accoutrements that you could use to climb back out if you did decide to use this as your entrance.
Kitty will send a peep through her eye implants to the others. Well, we could come in this way, but it'd be a one-way trip. Or we could breach the front and dare whatever security is there. What's your call?
We never take the front door.
Yeah, that'd be what she said. Alright, come on up then.
Come on, man, that's my territory.
Oh, well,
Sure.
I don't kink shame.
So, I would like you to tell me, Ghost, Paradigm, and Jonathan, in which order the three of you are climbing the ladder.
Yeah.
Ghost is
Jonathan probably takes
depressed. Look
point.
her lost.
Yeah, Jonathan probably takes point.
Yeah, Jonathan always
Okay.
taking point. His trauma team training kicking in, and even though there's still no signs of life on the lot or the streets beyond, someone inside was watching. Someone saw you. So Jonathan unhinges his assault rifle, scrambles up the ladder, and the ladder creaks and sways as Jonathan clambers up, but does not snap. Paradigm goes next, and Paradigm, as you pull yourself up onto the tar-stained rooftop, you hear the sound of warping metal and peer over your shoulder to see the bolt holding, one of the bolts holding the top rung of the ladder onto the side of the building has broken loose, which leaves Ghost as the last person to climb. And Ghost, you're about halfway up. You tell yourself that the shaking, the rattling, isn't anything to concern yourself with. It's just an old ladder. Until you're about one arm grab away from the top, and you hear the metal groan and a loud ping as the last bolt securing the ladder to the side of the building flies out of its socket, and the rung you're standing on collapses. The ladder...
Being that Ghost is not a person,
Yeah,
they
incorporeal.
continue to hover in the midair wherever they
Yeah.
were.
Aye, you found a glitch to explain.
Well, that was convenient.
The ladder detaches itself from the wall, seemingly expelled by an unseen force, and then clatters loudly onto the concrete below, leaving Ghost hanging from the side of the building, her hand wrapped around an invisible ladder rung.
Hold up, let me Let me lower some paracord for you.
I don't think that's necessary. I really don't.
Okay.
She continues climbing the invisible ladder. until
Really,
she
this is a
reaches-
formality.
until she reaches the top of it and joins the rest of you on the rooftop.
Wait, but how was your weight affecting the ladder then? What?
Look, man, even I don't get it. Y'all gotta try this though. It's a good time.
Tis best
Wasn't
not
it
to ask
ungodly
questions.
expensive?
Ghost doesn't have a physical body, and yet somehow her form enacted force on the ladder.
Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. But let's hope it'll be different this time round. Alright, ready? Kitty takes the
Gather a
paracord, loops it around a couple projections, and drops it down into the skylight.
Drops it down into the skylight. It dangles down into the courtyard below, and then one by one, you descend. Ghost going last, just like before, but this time trying to make an effort of at least appearing to use the physical cord to make her way down.
We don't want to embarrass you guys.
Using ledges, cabling, and smaller rooftops jutting out along the way down, you manage to reach the ground floor. But as you reach it, and as Ghost is the last one off, one of the rusted antenna on the roof that the other end of the paracord is attached to groans loudly, sags forward and snaps, tumbling down through the skylight, and the paracord ends up coiled at your feet. There's no way to get back up. It's either too high, too steep, or some of the exterior elements you used to make your descent have fallen off or been too damaged in the process to facilitate an easy climb back up.
Or an annoying low crawler drone went and pushed the antenna over.
Oh god, it's a survival horror episode.
You
On
think it?
your, as you
Start to
peer up through the old skylight, you do notice 3 narrow windows, according to your map, attached to what's simply marked as the storage room. These 3 narrow windows peer down into the courtyard, and the lights on the other side appear to be on.
So it'd be like that tie-in game where the ship's biscuits came alive and started hunting us. Zombie cakes. Resident Weevil. Alright.
So, the smoking area. It's full of dried grass, old cigarette butts, neon plastic flamingos that have been crunched underfoot by years of disuse and people kicking them and subjecting them to abuse. The courtyard's walled off with 4 3-story high barren facades. This appears to be the only place in the building with natural light access through the old broken skylight. The 3 narrow windows looking out from the storage room are about 13 feet up, about halfway up the wall. A human skeleton holding an old-school reusable plastic lighter lies in a patch of tall grass right in front of a set of 3 rusty metal doors simply marked exit.
Well, if it is survival horror, we'll be needing that lighter. Kitty goes and gets it. So, which way now?
The bones of his hand snap as you extract the small blue plastic lighter. Hold it up to the natural light, the dim sunlight that's leaking through and you see it's still about half full of gas. Where to? Seems to be only one obvious place to go. Through the doors and into the building, unless you want to think of a creative means of accessing those narrow windows.
Is there a specific place we're aiming for, or
You don't know.
we're just like looking for wherever they are?
Your orders are to find out what's happening, put a stop to it, and if there's anyone still capable of wanting to be rescued, to get them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're walking blind for now, but that'll change.
Well, I think
I
we
have
should
faith
the
in
main
a shotgun.
corridor. But you should never enter a room from a waist-high wall. It's just asking for trouble. Let's take the main door.
Take the main door. So
Yeah.
Jonathan turns the handle of one of the metal doors and it creaks open, admitting you to the building itself. Once the door is fully open, you have a great view of the pitch black corridor on the other side.
The vision visor is going on.
And I click on my eyes.
The night
Yep.
vision hums as it lights up, amplifying the tiny bits of ambient light and allowing you to see what's beyond the door. The area beyond appears to be a central corridor. According to the map on your RED, it's the main artery of the building, granting access to most of the building's separate sections. Stepping through the door, you find yourselves in this central corridor. In terms of furnishings, it's quite plain. There's an old pot plant pressed up against the wall next to the door leading to the courtyard, and the plastic fern inside still stands, although its leaves are flecked with layers of dust and ash. Faded lettering on the concrete wall in front of you simply reads "Restricted Area."
And there
You
be the green herb. Kitty goes and grabs the plastic fern.
Yeah, just snaps off one of the leaves, stows it into her bag. And you seem to be in the most central part of the building. From here, you can see the corridor branch off. It heads to the left and right, directly ahead of you. And behind you, it branches off to the right, running down the side of the building towards what, according to your map, is the garbage disposal. And opposite that, there's a thick metal door that leads out to the front entrance of the building. There's what appears to be an old card reader built into the concrete wall right next to this door. And I think you all have presence of at least 3, don't you?
Yep.
Jonathan doesn't. He only has +1.
Jonathan doesn't. So, Jonathan, you're not a... Do you have the investigate skill, though, Jonathan?
No.
No. So, Jonathan, your hearing is perhaps affected by the constant hum of your night vision, the electronic that prevents you from hearing what everyone else immediately does. A loud, repetitive banging. Thump! 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 Coming from somewhere to the south.
Hmm. Well, I imagine that's either someone trapped or some sort of guard bot trying to get out.
Both seem equally likely.
Yes.
Well,
Either
some of you
that or
guys,
the
Jonathan
vending
didn't
ma-
hear it.
Either that or the vending machine's stuck again and somebody can't get their fruity pies out.
True. Or some fourth unknowable horror if we are going with the whole survival horror episode.
That's true.
Or it's
Should we
like- Machinery.
Should we
Yeah.
investigate or should we go clear out a different part first? What's the goal?
I mean, do you want to metagame it?
I mean, I don't exactly have a hint book with me. So if you want to do your thing and see what's there.
Oh no, fuck that. No.
Ghost, even in her incorporeal form, is not willing
Yeah.
to investigate a strange banging sound on her
Right.
own.
What am I thinking? This is survival horror. We need to stick together.
Look, man, I'm the metal one. You're not supposed to just go with it.
Right. Just don't run anywhere. You'll fall and break your ankle. So what always happens?
Well, the first thing you're always taught for breaking and entering and securing a premises is always have an exit. So I think that's what we should do first.
Yeah. You could maybe make your way back up through the skylight. It would be quite difficult and dangerous, however. According to your map, the only other suitable exit would be, of course, the front door, unless you can find something else that's not marked on your map, which is entirely possible. You notice there's a garbage disposal, and, well, there must be some way to dispose of the garbage to get it out of the facility. Likewise, there's also a room simply listed as pump room, and assuming it's water that they're pumping in there, water's got to come from somewhere.
Well, my immediate thinking is if this is where they're running things from, and they have prisoners, we probably want to look for the larger rooms. Or like storage or wherever the mainframe is, because they're probably
Yeah.
repurposed stuff.
We should at least have a look around at the foyer. If we can somehow get
Around
them.
the foyer. Yep. So, Jonathan, you head over to the door that's directly in front of you that seems to lead towards the foyer. It's an automatic door, and somehow, despite the fact that this place is dark and all but abandoned, seems to still be powered. The card reader next to it blinks to life with a green light as you approach, and a small readout simply says, "Insert employee card." And Ghost, with your knowledge and technology, it's quite obvious to you that this card reader is about 30 or 40 years out of date, and it's very likely that its security is no match at all for the various protocols you're running, if you would like to hack through it. But before you do, I'm going to roll for something.
Yeah.
And as you head towards Jonathan and gather around the card reader, a line of static rushes through your field of vision. Your RED glitches, and for a fraction of a second, you see yourselves in the third person. You see the four of you gathered around the door that leads out to the foyer. You see Jonathan kneeling down, reading the readout on the card reader. The vantage point is watching you a near dead-on, top-down, bird's-eye view. You see your heads turn, looking for the source of the disturbance, and then It's gone as suddenly as it appeared, and your REDs are functioning normally once more.
Oh, Kitty immediately draws her shotgun and starts like running against the wall at a weird angle. Gotta get that viewpoint back somehow. No, damn it. Must have been the cutscene.
You gotta find the right angle so you can jump on the Koopa with the camera and then get free roam. Oh, that was incredibly weird.
Something glitched. You don't know what, you don't know why, maybe it's just old tech, but something is watching you. You know that now. You look around and you can't see any immediately visible cameras, but that doesn't mean there aren't any.
Don't suppose you're picking up any camera signals, Ghost?
Am I?
Ghost, go ahead, make me either a presence investigate or presence technology.
That's 20.
20.
Nice.
Ghost runs her hand along the concrete wall, along the faded lettering, stopping and silently following something with her eyes. Ghost, you're tracking a feed of data, packages that are being transmitted from a tiny pinprick-sized hole in the roof. A very well-hidden camera to somewhere further in the building.
Oh, hello.
The protocol is very out of date, and so it's no effort at all for you to run a trace. And you find the packet stream making its way towards the mainframe. Up in the northwestern corner of the site. This isn't the only one. As you follow the stream of data, you see several others. Seemingly one from each room in the complex, and they all converge upon the mainframe. Wherever you go, you're being watched, and you're not necessarily going to be aware of it. If not for your ability to track data streams, Ghost, you probably wouldn't even be able to know this camera was there. It's literally a tiny pinprick in the concrete ceiling, and nothing more.
Okay.
But it does tell you that the mainframe must indeed be online if data's being sent to it. Which means this place is not as quiet and empty as it appears to be.
What you got there, Ghost?
Well, someone's watching us.
Oh? From where?
Or at least they can. Ghost points to the little pinprick.
Ah!
To the rest of you, it looks like nothing more than a scuff mark on the ceiling. There's no blinking light, no lens or anything, but if Ghost says it's a camera, you know better than to question her.
Oh, how much do you reckon that micro lens cost? 500? A grand?
Oh, jack shit.
Jack shit? That's good. And Kitty pulls out a sandwich, wipes some ketchup on the green herb, and sticks the leaf over the micro hole.
Somebody deal with it.
The pinprick is covered, meaning this section of the corridor, at the very least, is safe from prying guys. So with that taken care of, are you still interested in heading to the foyer and securing an exit? Or is there somewhere else you'd like to go?
I mean, I don't see a reason to change the original plan. We'll need an out. Regardless, Jonathan is wise in this matters.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, Ghost,
Whoever's here knows we're here.
do you want a chance hacking this old piece of tech, the card reader, or would you like to use one of your apps to bypass the authentication system?
I'll just hack it for now.
Just hack it. Go ahead, make me a knowledge technology check.
13.
13. You think it's going to be easy. You step in front of the card reader and place the palm of your hand over it. Your other hand reaches over your shoulder, unslings your cyber deck. You don't need your cyber deck anymore, but it's out of habit. And as your fingers glide across the keyboard, you're surprised. Despite its appearance and its apparent age, the security algorithms are not exactly up to date, but not exactly ancient either. This thing's running some kind of proprietary Alliance and software, and the DR was 14. Would you like to glitch?
Oh, motherfucker.
Uh,
Yeah, alright. Well, that's not good.
That's not good.
That is a 4. That's a 9.
Reach the authentication node within the card reader, and you're about to reach out, grasp the data node in your incorporeal hands, and grant the rest of the party access to the room beyond, when a single line of code that you hadn't accounted for fires. Beep, beep. Click. Whoosh. The automatic door slides open as the readout blinks up a message. ID accepted. Blood gushes from Ghost's eyes and nostrils as she's overloaded with electrostatic feedback and takes 9 points of damage.
Jesus Christ.
From the carefully hidden waiting intrusion countermeasures.
Oh, fuck me. Okay, oh. Ow.
Oh no!
Okay, this is a lot spicier than I thought it was. Fuck.
All right. Do you need a minute?
Yeah, I'll be all right. Just yeah, fuck.
You sure you
Ow.
don't want Jonathan to look at that?
I mean, apparently somehow that worked last time. So if you want, buddy.
I mean, I am a doctor.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem.
Jonathan, completely oblivious as to why this is a problem, kneels down and procures a reduced syringe to apply, which is an instant full heal for whatever reduced.
What does this work?
10
so
healing.
Yes, that's
You
10.
hold out the injector, press it towards Ghost's body, and surprisingly feel something corporeal. Your thumb presses the lever on the injector, and the red liquid is injected into something. And Ghost, you're not sure how. It's one of those moments where the real world and the wired blend together in ways they shouldn't, but the pain instantly vanishes.
Oh my! Why does that work?
You know why?
You must be oodles of fun when you're getting your inoculations.
How are you not getting this? How are you not getting this?
I've just stopped questioning at this point.
The area on the other side of the door seems to be some sort of old customer-facing part of the blockchain VR / non-fungible entertainment parlor, filled with trippy, mesmerizing light panels on every surfaces and faint elevator music that emanates throughout the area. Directly ahead of you, in the direction of the foyer, there's a reinforced titanium blast door, currently hanging halfway open, leaving just enough clearance for someone to crawl underneath and get to the foyer. The corridor that you're in itself appears to be lined with 6 small booths. The doors are simply labelled VR 1 to 6. 5 of them, according to the LED screens built into them, are vacant, while the 6th one, the rightmost one, right at the end of the corridor, claims to be occupied.
Would that happen to be where the banging's coming from?
I'll get to that. Opposite the VR booths, 2 doors lead into a room simply marked as WC on your map. The little glimmering neon male and female stick figures tell you that this is the toilet, but strangely, they don't appear to lead into separate rooms. The banging sound is ever so slightly louder in this area, but it doesn't appear to be coming from the VR booths. Rather, you'd hazard a guess that the banging appears to be coming from the area beyond the wall.
Tis the vending area. Okay.
Bang! Bang! Thump! 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 Something is desperately trying to either get into or get out of something. And in contrast to the thick concrete walls of the restricted area, the walls here in the VR area are almost paper thin. Normal consumer grade drywall.
Well, Jonathan's going to pull out his crowbar and try and just crack open the locked VR room to start with.
VR room, yeah. Go ahead, make me a strength athletics roll for me.
No problems. That is an 18.
An 18. Jonathan makes his way to the VR booth that claims to be occupied, unslings his crowbar, and jams it into the little crack at the edge of the door. And then he groans as he pulls the crowbar, trying to get leverage, and then crash! The metal door breaks off its hinges, flying open. The cacophony echoes throughout the area, mixing with the tinny elevator music, and suddenly the repeating banging from the vending area stops.
Ominous.
Thump! 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 Crash! Ahead of you down the corridor, the drywall crumbles as a vaguely humanoid figure with a gigantic drill on its left arm bursts through the wall, alerted by the sound of Jonathan forcing the door open. And instantly, Jonathan, Ghost, Paradigm, you recognize the face that's staring at you from the end of the corridor. That same tortured, horrified-looking man's face. All of his features twisted in absolute terror. And as this thing rushes down the corridor, it's illuminated by the flashing light panels. And you see it for what it is. Not human, or not entirely. A scrapbot robotic shell with an LED screen where its head would be. It's on this screen that the face is displayed. And as it rushes towards you, its right arm gnashing with a pair of metallic pincers, and its left arm charging up a humongous drill. The man on the screen screams, Hey! Hey! I got pizza here! I got pizza! Someone order pizza? What the fuck? Ah! There's a burst of static. The man screams again. Hey! Hey! I brought pizza! Someone order pizza? What the fuck? What? Ah! It resets. An endless loop. The same moment of consciousness. Repeating endlessly. Jonathan, you alerted it, so go ahead and roll initiative. D6, please.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is this someone I should recognize?
It is not, but it doesn't look like they're having the time of their lives at the moment.
Uh, 5.
5. Enemies go first. The robot thing charges down the corridor right towards Paradigm, who's standing there, and it attempts to grab Paradigm in its metal pincers. Go ahead and roll to dodge for me, Paradigm.
What's 14, which I think is enough,
14, yeah.
hopefully.
You duck as the pincers close on thin air and roll out of the way, only to hear the drill whir as it charges towards Kitty, who's standing next to you. Go on, Kitty, roll to dodge.
Alright. Does being small help me, or is it
Well,
too
this
big for this?
this is a big drill, so I don't think being small is going to help. If it was a conventional weapon, sure. But this is a big industrial strength mining drill by the looks of it.
'Tis all fair.
Jeez.
I'd say you know the drill, but 23.
Yeah.
3. You leap out of the way as the thing charges towards the open doorway behind you. The giant drill becomes stuck in the door frame and it whirs. There's a crash as the doorway crumbles and the robot extracts its arm. On the screen, the man opens his mouth in a silent scream. Hey, I brought pizza. Does anyone want pizza? What the fuck? Ah! The consciousness loops. Alright. Jonathan, you're up first.
This is a tricky one, because we're in a bit of a tight space here.
Yes.
Aye.
Instinct is grenade, but bigger instinct is definitely not grenade.
Yeah.
Probably wise.
This corridor, aren't we, at the moment, or are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, how do I want to do this? I keep thinking of like how I could possibly use up that stupid bottle of super lube I found like in episode 2.
Yeah, that's totally.
I can't think of anything.
Try
You
to
throw
try
it
to-
behind him.
Throw it at its feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fetch. No, I'm gonna do the good old fashioned auto fire.
For what it's worth,
I'm gonna aim for the screen.
This thing looks like it's cobbled together out of the parts of various different machines. You could probably toss the super lube on the ground and it might not be able to maintain its footing, considering it looks like its legs are from 2 entirely different chassis.
Alright, why not? I'll use it up. Justin's gonna like grab the tube and using the might of Zeus squeeze it like a tube of toothpaste that's wronged him somehow.
The super lube squeezes out of the tube and you hurl it in front of you. It lands in the middle of the corridor, and the lube begins to leak out of the tube, staining the gaudy purple carpet. All right, Paradigm, you're up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, so I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to focus and try and send my nanites. I'm trying to dust the area the thing's standing on.
To dust it, and yeah, so it's going to slip, and also it can't see.
Oh,
You're
not
going to delete
not
it?
the thing itself, the where it's standing, or like just behind it if John's throwing the loop in front of it, like try and remove
Make
the floor.
a hole for it to
where
fall.
its feet
Yeah,
are,
make
yeah.
a hole. Yeah. All right. Yeah, go ahead. Roll to do your nano power.
Alternado. So I don't know why, but yeah, I was thinking about that earlier. Just drop it into the floor.
Seems good.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, that is a 1, so I'm going to glitch to make that not a fumble.
Yeah, not a fumble. Mind running a million miles a second. You estimate where it will land if it's going to trip over the super lube, and then you hold out your hand to delete a chunk of floor, making a convenient hole for it. The nanites in your body rumble and stir, and nothing happens. But you don't take any damage or activate your infestation. Alright, Kitty, you're up.
Normally I'd be toe-to-toe with this, but we are in a survival horror, so it's probably got some cheaty insta-kill. So Kitty will pull out the Herf gun and blast it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, mate. Going for the cheat kill. And that'll be a 14 to connect.
That is a hit. Roll your damage. This is, of
1d6,
course-
no armor, and a 10% chance of it glitching.
Yeah. And I'll roll the
5.
10%. 5, and I'll roll the d10. It does not glitch, but 5 damage as you blast it with invisible Herf rays. The image on the screen wavers and glitches, repeating the word pizza, 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 pizza over and over.
Yeah, that's a good beat.
I
And
know, right?
you're up, Ghost.
Okay, aloof the ghost may be being, I think they recognize how fucked this is.
Tis horrifying.
How damaged is this machine looking now?
You notice its movements seem to be quite a bit slower after taking that blast from the Hearth gun. It's a bit unsteady on its footing, but it's still trying to get to you with every fiber of energy it has.
Okay, because Ghost would be wanting to do everything it can to extract this consciousness from hell. Okay, for now, in the last session I pulled I turned Ghost's body into a flashbang. Do you think I could
Yep.
turn it into like an electric shock matrix?
Yeah, sure. Make me
Fuck yeah.
make me a presence technology check. And are you just gonna set yourself up in the corridor and have it charge into you?
Yeah.
Yeah, alright.
What was it, sorry?
That will be a presence knowledge.
Presence knowledge.
Sorry, presence technology, and we'll go.
Okay.
We'll say DR 16 because you are trying to fill up an entire, the entire girth of the corridor.
Yeah, it was exactly 16.
Lovely.
Cool.
Watch this, says Ghost as she winks. Her body flickers, and a fraction of a second later, there's a web of electrical currents, like a spider's web, running across the entire girth of the corridor. Now it just has to run into her. Hey! I brought pizza. Any of you want pizza? What the fuck? Ah! Shouts the consciousness as the machine charges towards Kitty, who fired the Hearth gun, gnashing its pincer arm. Go ahead, roll to dodge it, Kitty.
Sure. Does the lightning and the lube have any effect on it?
Not yet, not for the pincer
Alright.
arm.
Yeah, we'll try
When it started with its drill, though,
We'll try to dodge, weave, duck, and parry out away. And give me a second. Does a 13 do it?
13 does do it, as the pincer grabs the tip of your coat. You pull yourself away, hearing a rip, and it's left clutching a piece of blue fabric. Then the drill begins to whir. It sets its sights on Jonathan, and it charges. Jonathan, go ahead, roll to dodge the drill. And as it charges towards you, it slips on the super lube, and I'm going to roll a check for it.
That's 17 for me.
17 for you. Just as well, because as it stands on the super lube, it doesn't quite tumble over like you hoped, but it does skitter to the side, which lowers the DR of dodging its drill, which you didn't end up needing anyway. The drill slams into the door of one of the unoccupied VR booths. And then it extracts the drill and continues charging towards you. You step backwards, priming it to run straight into Ghost's electric matrix, and then it runs straight into the spider web. It takes 6 points of damage. But pizza! The screen flickers as the robot falls forwards with a clang, no longer moving.
That'd be a strange choice of guard bot. Some random programming on the screen shouting about pizza.
Immediately, Ghost is going to step into action and do whatever it can to, like, for now, just make sure the ram doesn't clear.
Yeah. Go ahead and make me a agility technology check.
Oh, I'm gonna glitch that. Reroll. Ooh, okay, that's 22.
The face on the screen blinks out, meaning you've only got scant seconds, but luckily, you have an idea where the ram would be. You force open a panel on the back of the LCD screen, reach into a slot, and extract the ram stick. Black smoke begins to waft out of the slot, and now that you've extracted the ram, I would like everybody to go ahead and to make an agility DR12 check for me. Acrobatics can be added if you got it.
Does Jonathan's bodyguard
15.
factor in, or is this not applicable?
24.
Actually, yeah, Jonathan's added goes in, so yeah, DR10.
That's just
Well,
the dodge.
I got 24, so...
24, yep.
So specifically, Ghost is going to be, like, keeping the RAM powered so that it's not losing its memory.
I'm going to spend a glitch to make that one not a fumble and eat the
Not a
explosion
fumble.
in the face.
Yep. An error message blinked, and Paradigm?
15.
15. Okay, so everyone except Kitty. An error message blinks on the LED screen. Warning! 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 Unauthorized blockchain transaction! Unauthorized blockchain transaction! And then the metal of the robot's frame begins to glow red hot until, predictably, the self-destruct activates. Jonathan grabs Ghost with one hand, Paradigm with the other, and pulls them into an unoccupied VR booth. But Kitty's on the other side of the corridor and ends up taking the brunt of the damage. And Kitty, that will be 8 points of damage. You may roll armor.
Oof,
Mind
this
if
is
I
a
do?
deadly episode.
Oh, it's all good.
Okay, while that's happening, Ghost's quickly going to be...
4, so I only take 4 points. Okay.
4. And you may roll now to see if you recover that 4, because of course... Alright, no, technically not combat. You have to wait till the next combat, unfortunately.
That's fine.
So,
Ghost's working very quickly to keep this person, this consciousness, in the best condition that they can.
yeah.
So what she's going to do is they're going to set up first like a sandboxed environment on their cyber deck, and just for now, just keep that data in there, powered on.
As you unload the consciousness into the sandbox, the man's face appears floating in the void. He peers up at you. Where? I came to deliver a pizza, but they had guns and the machine. Oh God, the thing they hooked into me. Oh God! He begins to hyperventilate, despite not being indeed a breathing being, and so you grant him the mercy of deactivating him for the time being, keeping him in stasis until you could figure out how you could do to save him.
Alright. I'm shocked he's running on that little power, but that works. Cool.
The robot lies at your feet, nothing more than charred bits of metal on the ground, and there is now a makeshift doorway through the drywall into the vending area.
Anyway, did anyone get the number of that there garbage truck? Well, whatever that low chip is, I hope it was worth it. Where to now? Oh wait, you pried open the VR thing, didn't ya?
Yeah. I suppose you guys want to check that out.
It did, draw a killer Bioshock bot to us, so we might as well.
Jonathan nods, grabs the warped door, and forces it to slide open. Inside the room is a super old VR setup with, to ghosts anyway, very clear dark web tier mods. An uncomfortable amount of cables runs from the various screens and computer towers to an unconscious man with the word Blaze tattooed on his throat. He's strapped to a modded VR chair. A nearby terminal monitors his brainwave activities, and a message blinks on the screen. Download progress, 76%, 4 hours left. Jonathan, with your medicine skill, you notice that one of the many cables jacked into this man's flesh does not lead to a computer, but rather to an IV drip wedged in the corner of the room. A brief examination of the bag hanging from the drip reveals that he is being pumped with a almost certainly deadly dosage of Vert, were it not for the red juice mixed into the drip, which seems to be just enough to keep his heart beating.
Ooh. Jonathan's going to relay this to the group. Oops, sorry, drop my dice. 1 second.
Do you think
Yeah,
you could
Jonathan's going to relay this to the group and just ask Ghost, do you think you can get him out of it? I don't want to, take away his life support if he's going to die just seconds later.
Look, I'm amazed the first thing worked with this guy.
Well, could you at least stop the poison? I mean, he should shrug it off after a while, eh? You stop the bad drugs coming in.
Well, if the red juice in this is keeping him alive and we discontinue it, we discontinue both, he might not make it.
Not the red juice, but the other stuff. Could you, like, filter it somehow?
You could try. It wouldn't be easy, but if anyone knows how to do it, Jonathan would.
That would not be something that would really be possible, I think. Nor that he would try to do.
Yeah.
Alright.
Ghost would have some like technological insight into what's actually occurring to him, right? Like whether we could just disentangle him from the machinery and he'd be okay, or whether that would instantly kill him, or
based on what Ghost would know, he's simply jacked into the network, and if you unjacked him, he might take some feedback from dump shock, but he should theoretically be okay. The problem, at least in Ghost's mind, is the message blinking on that terminal. Downloading, 76% complete. Unclear whether he's downloading something from the system, or if the system's downloading something from him.
I'm going to try and enter the system and see where that's going and what that is.
So, you notice a physical jack slot on the side of one of the terminals, and you're going to require a physical proxy.
Alright, who's up?
Who's up for what?
You know the drill. And
Do
Ghost
I?
gestures towards the jack.
Let's hold on a second here. Are you sure we shouldn't be checking out the mainframe first and coming back to this fella if that's the way to go?
Look, that download is going on, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
But you want me to find out, eh?
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, I want to find out, but I'm gonna need you.
Well, I put me faith in you many times to back out now. Your crew, after all.
So I'm just rolling for something, and as Kitty approaches the terminal, there's a loud beep, and another message shoots up on the screen. Transferal of Sector A completed, now minting.
Oh my fucking god.
Minting? What, like coins?
The kind of like that. Fuck.
Well, Kitty slots into the jack.
Kitty
Do your thing. Let's
Obviously
hope I
that-
don't end up a little balloon.
Obviously, that has given Ghost a great deal of insight into what's going on here.
Yeah, I thought it would. So Kitty reaches for her cord, pulls it out of the hole in her neck, and jams it into the slot. Kitty, instantly the VR booth dissolves around you. You feel that familiar lurch, that static electricity as Ghost's consciousness melds with your own. And suddenly, you're standing in the middle of a vast plateau in the virtual world. A featureless white expanse, packets of data streaming past you. Millions of terabytes in a nanosecond. Standing directly in front of you as the data streams overhead is the man. The word Blaze still tattooed prominently on his throat. His eyebrows raise as he sees you standing there. What? Who? Where? What's going on in this place?
I'm working
Bad
on
things,
that.
mate. Hold still, we got an expert. They'll have you
I
done,
don't-
mate.
I don't understand. How did I...
Look, we don't have time for this. Okay. Ghost. She wants to actually determine the complete nature of that data stream.
Yeah. So are you going to tell Blaze where he is and what's going on? Or are you just going to keep him quiet for now?
How are you going to explain that one in a couple seconds?
Yeah. So, Ghost, with your knowledge and your technology check, it is quite clear that the data stream, and I will point out this is an incredibly thick, large data stream. This is terabytes and terabytes of data, more than you've ever seen, more data than you've ever seen in one place from a single source at the same time.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, well, I'm sure Ghost's probably seen some things, but what she hasn't seen is all of the data that essentially makes up this man's essence. His personality being cut and pasted from his brain and sent somewhere else, probably to the mainframe.
See, I would have had a feeling that the Ghost would absolutely have seen that. Considering.
Well, perhaps, but not in this form.
Fair enough.
Ghost knows about mind uploading for sure, but this is a different variation of it. This is, as the data stream is being lifted from his brain elsewhere, something's happening to it. It's being divided up, parceled away into separate bits and pieces, each one of them becoming a different transaction on the blockchain.
Oh, that is messed up. Oh, God. And you said it was a cut and paste operation?
Yeah.
Ah, fuck me. Okay. First up, how much of this information is still, like, locally present?
Well, all of it that's been stripped from his brain seems to be in the mainframe. It seems to definitely be on site. You can't detect any connection to the outside web, meaning it's definitely being stored somewhere here in this building. The bad news is that, well, the download is 76% completed. There is very little of Blaze left. In fact, what's left of him would be tantamount to a child, a small child.
Oh, good God. Okay.
Sounds like we should finish it off.
Hang
so
on,
at least
hang
he's
on.
all in one piece somewhere.
That's not
Or-
a terrible point.
We could go find where they're storing it, undo it, and put them back.
Yeah, that's much easier said than done, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't think you're good enough to handle it,
I don't think
Alright.
the human brain is good enough to handle that.
They said it would be an easy data courier job. I brought the data, and when I asked for payment, they Blaze's mouth drops open, and it looks like he is precious moments away from remembering where he is and what is currently happening to him.
Okay, Johnny Mnemonic, just chill out. You're gonna be okay.
Ghost, go ahead, make for me a presence persuade check.
Oh, it's not a good roll.
No,
Yeah.
I
Oh, it's a nat one!
nat 1. Do you want to
Oh,
glitch
God.
to not make it a botch?
Ah, man. I don't know, like, I feel like he's gonna panic either way. But he's probably gonna hurt himself or something if it boshes.
How could he hurt himself in the net?
I don't know. Dale's
he'll-
cruel.
He'll hurt you.
Yeah, I don't have any glitches myself. How generous is everyone
take
feeling?
one of mine. It's fine.
Okay.
I got 4.
Not a
Down
botch
to
then.
one.
Not a botch. No, I asked them for the creds and oh god. Oh God, the machine! The machine! The void! The hallucinations! The... Oh God, all the other captives! All of them! All of them on the blockchain! No! No, I want out! I want out! I want... He locks eyes with you, Kitty/Ghost. Kitty, you're the one jacked in. Go ahead and make a toughness technology check for me.
Toughness, my worst stat. Cool. So 1d20 minus 1.
Don't worry, you're small.
That is not a help here.
But you're small.
No, it is not a
There's less
help.
damage.
I rolled a 3.
3.
2.
You take 4 points of dump shock damage as sparks fly from the jack slot and you're flung backwards, hitting the wall of the VR booth. Blaze, sitting there in the VR chair, begins to twitch. His mouth opens, and blood begins to gush from his open mouth. On the monitor, his brain waves peak and then flatline. His body twitches once more and ceases to move.
Oh, fuck me. That was the non-botch, guys.
I'm out of there! I'm free! Says a voice in your head, Kitty.
Oh,
Yar.
God.
God.
Hi. Yar, says Kitty. Don't worry. I'll get you to safety once we're done here. Stick with me.
They captured me and I...
Sorry, are we hearing this?
No, only Kitty
Okay.
is. I
Like, you didn't say that out loud, Kitty?
I can't remember. I can't remember anything. Oh God! I can't remember my name. I can't remember where I'm from. I came to deliver data and yeah. Captain Kitty. I'm Captain Kitty. Captain Kitty I am. Captain Kitty.
Kitty, you alright?
And true. Strong and true against the Labrador Brigade.
Give me a second. He's being a bit noisy.
He's what now?
He's being a bit noisy. Yar.
Kitty, you're jacked out.
Yeah, and he came with...
Oh, fuck me.
Relax. I got a good place to put him after we're done here. Alright, mate. Take the gunner's station.
What are you talking about? What do you mean you have a good place?
Oh, Captain Kitty Bang Bang, pretty Captain Kitty Bang Bang, we love you, and with Captain Kitty Bang Bang, we'll sign on to join her crew.
Your name shall be Blaze, midshipman. We'll sort out your exact duties later. Till then, stand sentry. Here's how you work the eyes.
Mixed results. The good news is Blaze, or the roughly 30% of him that you could salvage, has been freed from that nightmare. The bad news is he no longer has a body. And the rest of his essence is sitting somewhere on some mainframe being minted on the blockchain as we speak.
What in the love of God would have happened if I'd botched that?
He probably would have taken a piece of you with him.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking it's best none of you two, and she points at Paradigm and Jonathan, were the ones being logged in for that. That said, let's try to go in with a plan next time we do that, Ghost?
How the fuck do I plan for this?
Yeah, I can kind of roll with it.
I
Don't worry about it.
The level of just Dunning-Kruger on display here is astounding.
Never heard of them. Let's get going, shall we?
You do get a boon, Kitty. Suddenly, you seem to have an almost exhaustive knowledge of survival. As vague memories of a life lived as a data courier, couriering sensitive information through the worst parts of Psi and the wastes beyond linger in the back of your mind, fully formed.
Excellent. Alright. He'll take a bit of sorting. Look, Ugh. Shall we get going? There's not much
Yeah.
more to do here.
Where to? Still want to secure that exit at the foyer?
Right. God, we still haven't made it
That
to
was
the
the initial
foyer
plan.
yet.
Jonathan wants to keep going through with it.
Yeah. So, Jonathan, you're the first out of the booth. The man's dead, as far as you know. Nothing more you can do for him. Make your way down the corridor, past the gaping hole that seems to lead into a room filled with rows upon rows of vending machines. And you crawl under the reinforced blast door into the foyer. The foyer is retro AF, almost nostalgic, but it's dead, gutted. There's only a front desk left. The parlour's logo is peeling from a wall, and behind that, an even older logo, Allianson. There's an old mattress on the floor in the middle of the room, empty food cans and bottles. An old ceiling camera, not the hidden kind, disconnected, no signs of life. And a small altar to an unknown deity in one of the corners of the lobby, constructed out of pieces of scrap metal and overturned milk crates. A crude doll made out of wires has been placed lovingly on the surface. The good news is that from this side, it's a very easy thing to grab the key to the padlock that's hanging on a hook right next to the front door, unlock the padlock binding the doors together, pull the chain through the hole, and push the thick metal doors open, allowing the sunlight from outside to flood into the foyer, and granting you an easy way out of the building.
God, it's
Right.
been so eventful already. At least, well, we have a way out of here once we've finally gone into the belly of whatever beast this is.
Jonathan, could I trouble you to take a few minutes and extract the bits of robot out from me, fur and chassis?
Yeah.
AKA some medical patching if we're to go much further.
Yeah, Jonathan has
Yeah.
tons of uses of first aid kits left. He stocked up on them like 6 episodes ago. How much does a first aid kit heal again? Is it 4?
1d4.
Like 1d4?
You'll be 4 for you because of
It's gotta
your
be 4,
skill.
yeah.
But I will ask you to make me a knowledge medicine check first, because you might do well enough to get more.
That's a D6 for first aid.
D6.
Oh,
There
hey.
you go.
That is a natural 20.
Ooh, natural 20.
Oh,
Jesus.
All right. Instead of
might get
getting
some insights here.
6 back, Kitty, you get 8 hit points back. Jonathan
Oof,
uses up one of the uses in his first aid kit, extracting loose bits of metal from your flesh. And Jonathan, something strange. As you're attending to Kitty's wounds, you do a routine checkup. Normal trauma team stuff. You affix an ECD to her chest and check the readout on your wrist monitor. And you could almost swear that Kitty somehow has 2 hearts beating.
This is shocking to Jonathan because she shouldn't even have 1.
Yeah. Animatronic and
Ah.
all.
You're top of the line. Best doctor ever. Thank you.
Yeah, it's shocking they fired me.
Well,
The
that's their
power
loss and
of
me gain.
friendship will prevail. Bang, bang, kitty, kitty, bang, bang. Let's make those bitches wail.
Let's make those bitches well. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Sorry. Shall we get going then?
What is even happening today?
Magic.
Given the lack of resistance in the foyer, you start to wonder why you didn't just take the front door. But then, Paradigm, with your presence, you notice something. embedded into the door frame of the main entrance, a little blinking red light. You point it out to Ghost, who quickly tells you that it is a motion detector. And according to a stream of data emanating from it, it's linked to the blast door, meaning if you'd entered this way, as soon as you went beyond the foyer, that blast door would have slammed shut behind you, trapping you here.
Well, glad we noticed that now.
You can exit through here. Doesn't matter if the door slams shut when you leave, but if you were coming in, you'd have had to find another way out.
It's like that old song, The Hotel Oklahoma. Check out anytime you want, but you can never leave.
So, anything else you'd like to do here?
Doesn't really seem like there's much else around.
Yeah.
Apart from the creepy doll, which Jonathan is not interested in touching.
Yeah, it doesn't look to be like it. You can only tell that it's meant to be human because of the vague shape. It doesn't have any facial features. It doesn't even have any recognizable fingers or toes. It's literally just a bunch of wires and scrap metal loosely tied together in the shape of a human, placed on top of this altar to something.
Well, we're in a survival game. We're in a horror survival game, so I'll take it. Creepy doll. Creepy wire doll.
The doll and scoops the doll off the altar and slides it into her bag. So, where to, survivors? Secured an exit, so that's one thing you won't have to worry about.
Did we actually investigate vending? We came
No,
through
you
it,
didn't.
we? Oh,
Well, you
let's
walked
check out
past the hole, yeah. So Kitty leads you
No,
back.
that's still a solid wall there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Between
that's all
fire
solid
and
wall.
venting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the hole is here. So Kitty leads you back under the blast door and carefully steps over the hole that the blockchain captive drilled through the wall. And you step out into, well, as your map suggests, the vending area. Glowing ads of perfectly chilled beverages, rows of vending machines buzzing and humming. All of them advertising a variety of ancient, gimmicky soda brands. One of the vending machines is unlit and apparently empty, at least according to the little blinking readout on its display. All of the vending machines are advertising a cornucopia of drinks for only 5 creds a pop.
Let's see. Search my memory for corporate sponsors, nod, and I'll drop 5 creds to get a Burpsy Cola.
You step up to one of the vending machines, and as you go to insert your cred stick, you can't help but notice the huge dents in the front of the vending machine. This is what the blockchain captive, it seems, was trying to get into. Did it simply want to drink? Was it even capable of registering such a desire? You insert your cred stick and press the button. And despite what you order, the vending machine, decades old, has a mind of its own. Go ahead, roll a d20 for me.
Why not? You have a soda chart. Of course you do. Why wouldn't you? That's a 13. Lucky number 13.
13.
Yep.
Clang! A can drops out of the vending machine, landing in the little basket. It's Chloro Spritz Sunset Bleach flavor. As the can drops down out of the machine, I'd like you, Kitty, to go ahead and roll me a presence investigate check.
Alright. Chloro Blitz. It won't put your taste buds on the fridge. Alright. Only a 7.
DR was 6, so 7's enough. You hear something vaguely metallic rattling around inside the machine as the unseen arm extracts your can and then slides back into place.
Hang on. There'd be something stuck in there. And she'll take her monosword and just kind of chop through the lock that holds it shut
Yeah.
and pull it open.
You smash the lock open, the front of the vending machine swings open, and several cans immediately come spilling out, rolling all over the floor with brands such as Boss Milk Citrus Mix, Baldolph's Clam Tonic, Soy Boy Green Diet Light, Slurp Surprise, 777 flavors. And then
Don't drink those, they're all shook up now.
And then you see, sitting on a little alcove in the chute, seemingly dropped there by somebody who was trying to snag themselves a free drink however many years ago, a small metal key flecked with rust. As you grab the key and brush the dirt off the label and see the word medical written on it.
Shall we go to medical then?
That's the thing. On the map, there is no
medical?
room labeled medical.
Hey, oh. But there is an unlabeled room off to the side of the office.
There is, yes.
No, you get to that through the office, though. That looks like
Yeah.
Safety washroom. Ooh.
We should check them all out anyway, so that room's as good as any to start with.
All right. To the office next.
Unless
Right
it...
up.
Yep, Paradigm, you got any other ideas?
Oh no, that sounds about as good as any, but it's just I'm just gonna pocket a few of the falling out
Drink.
cans. Like
Yeah.
just like
Hey,
Good
there's
idea.
better.
survival horror, take what we can.
And that's vintage stuff. I mean, you can't find that all of that anymore.
Yeah.
Some of it's not.
Yeah.
You gather the 6 cans that look like they're still intact, that don't have massive dents in them from being flung violently out of the machine, and slide them into your bag. If anything, they'll be worth something on the secondary market. They are vintage, after all. Collectibles to some weirdos. But even better, the drinks back then were much stronger than the watered-down crap they put out today, and each of these drinks, if you are able to pass a toughness check when drinking it, will heal you 1d4 HP.
God
Oh,
damn.
nice. Soda of healing. I'm
An
here. for
immediate
this.
sugar rush.
So, Kitty nominates to the office next. Does anyone have any other ideas?
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah. So, rather than stepping through the hole in the wall that you came through, Kitty crosses the vending hall and pushes open the little metal door. It creaks as it admits you back out into the darkened, restricted area. Ahead of you, according to your map, is the office. And so Kitty makes a jolly jaunt down the corridor towards the office, and as you approach the corner that leads back the way you came towards the smoking area, I'm going to roll for something.
Oh god.
Paradigm and Ghost, with your presence, you suddenly hear 2 voices emanating from somewhere in the darkness. I saw it! I was there! You won't shut me up! Get your hands off me! Ah! I saw it! I was there! You won't shut me up! Get your hands off me! Ah! And then a female voice saying, "This isn't fucking funny, Rez! Let me fucking go! This isn't fucking funny, Rez! Let me fucking go!" And you see the unmistakable silhouette of two blockchained captives making their way down the corridor ahead of you, walking towards the office. Their LED screens glowing in the darkness, the faces depicted on them locked in an endlessly repeating nightmare of digital torture. They don't seem to have spotted you yet.
I like pull everyone up as I like point them out. Just two more of the glitchy people.
Oh,
This isn't fucking funny, Rez. Let me fucking go.
all right. Hide or strike. Your call, Jonathan. Or Ghost.
I'm sick of fighting these things.
I was wondering if I'd be able to pull the electrocution thing, but like catch him by surprise and take him out.
Yeah, but there's a chance they might spot you, so it'll be a... But that's fine, because you could set yourself up and then the others could alert them and they could probably... Either way, they're going to run into the Matrix, whether they do it unsuspectingly or they do it while charging into combat. Yeah, sure. Ghost, you've got a few seconds to set yourself up before they notice you, so I'll reduce the DR to 14 for a presence technology check.
Yeah.
And I'll
We'll
try
go with
to
14
away to
instead?
lower it by 4.
Ooh, nice, a 10.
Ooh.
Jonathan's
That
tactics.
came out to 11, so that was perfect.
11,
Thank you.
yeah.
Oh,
perfect.
nice. Well done.
So as Ghost puts a finger to her lips and disappears, and the web of electricity begins to form at the mouth of the corridor ahead, what are the rest of you doing? Are you going to hide out of sight, or are you going to get their attention and cause them to come charging straight into the Matrix?
Yeah. Kitty would
It
be the
seems
most risk taker, so she'd like lure him in if she could.
See, if it seems like they're going to walk into it anyway.
Oh,
Jonathan
yeah?
wouldn't do anything, which is hide. Yeah.
All right. Well, if Jonathan says that, then Kitty will hide as well.
Yeah, so I will ask Paradigm, Jonathan, and Kitty to make me some agility stealth checks to hide.
All right. Let me get over that way. And this is a case where being small is helpful.
It is,
That's-
yes.
19 in total.
19, ooh, nice.
16, 17, 17.
17. And Paradigm?
What's my thing? Ooh, it's a 5 from me.
Ooh, you want to glitch that?
I have 1 left, so I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I
this
would.
is...
Yeah, I'm
Right,
not gonna worry
leave it
about
as
it
it is.
Eh.
So, Kitty ducks down behind another plastic fern pressed up against the vending room door, while
Ooh, more
Jonathan...
green herb.
More green herb. While Jonathan presses himself flat against the concrete, concealing himself in the darkness. Paradigm, you're looking around, scrambling for a place to hide, and you decide to take your chances, dashing out around the corner and hiding somewhere close to the smoking area. But you're not quick enough. As soon as you round the corner, you hear the voice. The voice that tells you that you've alerted them. I saw it! I was there! You won't shut me up! Get your hands off me! Ah! As the LEDs flicker a variety of colors and the two blockchained captives raise their gun arms, not equipped with drills like the one you fought earlier. The wheels they have at their base, rather than legs this time, begin to spin as they charge down the corridor towards you, unloading their guns at directly what's in front of them. So I will ask Paradigm and Ghost to make me some agility acrobatics checks to avoid the gunfire. And Ghost, Yours will be DR16 because you're also trying to hold the form of the electric matrix.
It's a good thing those are my best skills somehow still.
Yeah.
That was... Oh, you're kidding me. It came out to 15.
Ooh, 15, nearly. And Paradigm?
Well, it's a 21 from me.
21. Boom! Boom! As the shotgun arms begin to fire, you just open your mouth, let out an "oh shit" and turn back the way you came, throwing yourself behind the potted plant next to Kitty. Stray buckshot peppers the corridor, slamming into the electric matrix, and Ghost takes 9 points of damage, and you may roll armor.
Oh, god damn it. Okay. Sorry, that is... Okay, Google. I'll do that again because it just gave me a 4 and a D2.
Or in a D2. Ah, right.
Let's try on your bot.
Yeah, alright, so D2. Alright, you take 8 points of damage.
Oh, good.
You struggle to maintain your form. You feel the electrical cords beginning to break down, shards of data, ones and zeros, chipping away, floating into nothingness, and you exert all of your raw willpower to maintain this shape. Just as it's not funny, Raz, the blockchained captives charge into the matrix. The electricity surges down their robot chassis. They both take 6 points of damage, and they fall to the ground, their wheels still spinning as their rotors begin to shut down.
Are they done?
Seems so.
All right, then.
Okay, so they pack a punch, but they can't take one. Good to know.
Yeah, well, they are cobbled together out of bits of other robots, so...
Yeah.
Jonathan's gonna patch up Ghost again.
Yeah.
Got plenty of first aid kits and an emergency red juice, but
Yeah.
first
So which
aid
one are you
kits
going
for
to
now.
do? First aid kit?
First
Go
aid
ahead.
for now, yeah.
Yeah, make me a knowledge medicine check. We'll see if you do well enough to get some extra healing.
Don't forget your free D4 roll for it being down to combat.
Yes.
D4.
That is a 9.
That is a 9. Yeah, well, so... You got below DR12, so Ghost, you get 4 points back instead of... Actually, no, it's 6, isn't it? You get 3 points back as Jonathan tries to bandage your arm, except while he's trying to bandage your arm, it keeps morphing and shaping itself into different things. At first it's an arm, and then it's a spear, and then it's a whip, and then it's an arm again, and Jonathan's unable to get a handle on it. But you successfully negotiated that encounter, so now everyone gets to roll a D4 and recover that much health. The 2 blockchained captives lie inert in the corridor, and Ghost, are you going to try to snatch their ram again?
Yeah, she'll pull the same maneuver.
Yeah.
In that case, Kitty's going back into the vending area. Good
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan and Paradigm, I assume you're following?
Yeah, seeing
Alright.
Ghost go for the ram, just like, okay.
Alright.
Good luck, I'm going to be over here.
Ghost, make me an agility technology check.
Okay, you'll suck.
For what? There ain't a thing we can do here.
That's 25.
25, ooh, okay. With a pass that good, you manage to detach the ram from the first one, and you're not sure what you do exactly, but when you unhook the ram from its slot, the plume of smoke doesn't start to hiss out. You repeat what you did on the second one, but no such luck. You see the telltale wisp of smoke emanating from the robot's core. You drop both sticks of RAM into your bag and go ahead and make an agility acrobatics check for me to get out of the way. But only once, because you managed to avoid tripping off the sensor in the first one.
20.
20. Bang! The self-destruct goes off, but Ghost is already standing in front of the doorway to the office, about 10 meters away. The charred remains of the blockchain captives lie in the corridor. A big scorch mark on the concrete floor, the only evidence that they were ever there. Paradigm, Jonathan, and Kitty creep back out of the vending area, and you regroup, and 3 blockchain captives saved. Are you ready to enter the office?
I think we should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kitty jaunts forwards and pushes open the dusty, thick mahogany door.
Mahogany.
The faceplate on the door once read something, but it's long ago faded. Inside the office are stale, dusty air conditioner air that makes you cough and splutter, filled with the scent of decaying ink and paper. Stacks of papers sit discarded on desks laid out throughout the wide open room. Towards one wall, there's a whiteboard filled to the brim with notes, sketches, charts, and diagrams for unfinished VR projects with code names such as Carnage, Dark Palace, and Dark Fortress. There are 8 desks in the room altogether, each of them equipped with an old early 21st century style landline phone, a personal computer, all of them turned off and cluttered with leftover personal belongings. A pneumatic mail tube sits on the opposite wall. A faded sign next to it reads, "To Engineering." And the small room off to the side, at least according to what's left of the brass faceplate on the door, appears to lead to the manager's office, but it's currently locked.
Ooh. Is
Well,
it
crowbar
electronic
worked
lock
last
or?
time. Crowbar
Yeah.
might work this time.
Yeah. Jonathan?
Before you do that,
Yep.
I'd like to go over and check the mail tube to make sure there's nothing in it.
Yeah. So Kitty walks over to the pneumatic tube and slides open the little door down the bottom, and sure enough, there's a rolled up scrap of paper inside the tube, covered in dust, and the edges of it are all frayed. You fish the scroll of paper out from the pneumatic tube, extract it from the plastic canister, and unfold it. And it simply reads, "Reggie, new piece of cyberware arrived. That gauntlet you were after. I've stuck it here in engineering. Feel free to come get it by the end of the day. Or don't. It'll just gather dust until you do. Ain't none of us willing to put something like that anywhere near our arms."
Wimps. Everyone's born with 2 hands. What's the worst that could happen? Alright. Please proceed, Jonathan.
Jonathan, make me a strength athletics check to bash this door down.
I don't wonder how long this place has been here. This thing's retro.
Yeah.
No,
looking
right?
over all the
Strength
computers and
athletics?
everything.
That's a total of 19.
They got ads
Total
for
of
dark
19.
fort. Good old Merc boring. Didn't come out too well.
Crash! It doesn't take much, Jonathan, to get the door open. And because you rolled so high, as you force the door open, you also, by some miracle of luck, fail to trip the little wire mechanism that someone set up on the other side. The door swings open and you find yourself face to face with an old shotgun that's rigged to some sort of mechanical arm. A wire leads from the trigger finger to a mechanism in the door frame that somehow you've avoided tripping.
Who decided to rig this place? This doesn't make
Oh,
any
hey.
sense.
Free shotgun.
Paradigm, I would like
Huh?
you to go ahead and make for me a presence investigate check, since you're searching the all the desks and cubicles.
That is a 24.
24. Most of the stacks of paper appear to be nothing more than old accounting reports, design documents for VR entertainment sims, and lists upon lists of blockchain transactions and inventories of Alliance's various crypto wallets. But in one of the drawers, you find an old cred chip. The counter on the cred chip itself tells you that there is 2,000 creds stored on it. The problem is that you don't have sockets old enough to jack it in.
Damn.
Sounds like something Ghost could handle.
Hmm.
Future.
Aye, or we could go looking for some old sockets while we're down in engineering.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Do you turn on any of the computers by any chance, Ghost or Paradigm?
I guess maybe out of absent-minded curiosity, he like tries one of the power buttons on one of them, like not expecting it to work.
To your surprise, you hear the whir of a mechanical hard drive and the dusty screen lights up. It doesn't even ask
Yeah.
for a password, it just goes straight to the unfamiliar desktop of a turn-of-the-century operating system known as Windows.
Oof.
Oh, that is ancient.
That's reaching way far back.
Version 11, apparently.
Holy carp.
How's this thing still running?
An email client is open on the screen, and seems easy enough to scroll through the emails, so would you like to?
We'll give it a peruse, yeah, while Jonathan looks over the manager's office.
Yeah. With Ghost peering over your shoulder and tissing disappointed that there's no pay data on this machine, it seems to be quite clean.
Oh no,
stained-
Ghost would be very much enjoying the
very much enjoying
the retro experience.
Yeah. Ghost is the one who's encouraging you to keep scrolling through the inbox, where there are 7 messages, all unread. The medical supplies are for emergencies only, not spiking your soda after work. The first aid supplies will be locked in the storage area from now on. Unless you're dying, don't even bother asking me for the key. The next one reads, "People, clam down! There are no plans to close our branch. Let's all get back to work and make this a great fiscal quarter. Hashtag team spirit, hashtag blockchain, hashtag crypto." The next one reads, "Sigil from the ZY branch has reported yet another case of customer bleeding from their eyes in its mid-session." The next one reads, "They've got to be joking. If engineering doesn't shut down that hatch soon, the sewage stench will drive me crazy." The next one reads, "I want you real bad. EOB, disposal, 7th wall panel. And the last one simply reads, corporate. We would like to regretfully inform you that the Psy City branch is being downsized to 0 FTEs with immediate effect. Alliance and Incorporated. Meanwhile, Jonathan, in the manager's office, the first thing you see is, slumped over the single desk, a skeleton wearing a tattered grey suit. His right hand clutches an ancient-looking revolver. Your first instinct is to check for a bullet hole in the skull, seeing the revolver in his hand, but there is not one there. Seems like he sealed himself in this room for whatever reason, and then simply perished due to starvation. He was holding out for rescue, and nobody came.
So it stands to reason that they're hiding from whatever's been let loose in the actual facility.
Yeah. How long have these blockchain captives been here? You suddenly wonder. Is this why Arlienson chose this place to conduct their research? Because it had already taken place so long ago?
Come to think of it, they did have a pizza driver who was showing up without, a full complement of guards. Or even have any heavy weaponry, otherwise he wouldn't have gotten captured.
The place must have been infested for ages, but the infrastructure's still here and it still works. And, well, Jonathan, you've been a corpo, and your first thought is that, hey, those roaming blockchain captives make good makeshift guards that you don't even have to pay. This is actually the perfect black site to conduct top secret research on mind ripping. All the old shit's already here. All you gotta do is get it up and running again. So, aside from the perished manager slumped over his desk, there doesn't appear to be much of value in the room, although you can't help but feel tempted to rifle through the desk drawers. And do you do that, Jonathan?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Alright, go ahead, roll a d6 for me.
Six.
6.
Ooh.
Ooh, lovely. There is, inside of the drawer, a plastic baggie containing 3 unmarked, unlabeled medical injectors.
Can I investigate those with my medicine?
The manager's secret stash. Go ahead, make me a knowledge medicine check.
This isn't going to work out. I just rolled a 3. Let me add things onto that. Not that really matters, I think.
Well, I will tell you, with your medicine skill and your knowledge, you do determine that one of the injectors, the older looking one that has a viscous blue substance within, is loaded with adrenochrome HST. The other 2, though, whatever these drugs are, they look like they've been off the market for decades, and you've never seen anything with quite that consistency or colour.
Vintage
One
nose
of them is bright red, and your first instinct is that it might be red juice, but holding it up against the ambient light, you realise it's an even darker shade of red than red juice. So you've got adrenochrome HST, red stuff, and something completely unidentified.
Well, those are going to go in his pocket.
Yeah. Can get them identified later, but for now, if you want to try any of them, you'll be taking a gamble. You assemble
That's not
back.
really Jonathan's style anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan steps back into the main office, rejoining the rest of the group, just as Ghost, still giggling like a giddy schoolgirl, finishes reading the last corporate chainmail and looks up from the computer.
So, anything good?
Somewhat.
Well,
You've
Kitty's
learned,
been...
you've learned that
been
the
reading as well.
medicals. You've learned that the
Yeah.
medical supplies are in the storage room at the very least.
Yeah, the medical
But-
supplies have been locked in storage. And then
But before
there
we
was...
go...
Yep.
Go on.
I don't... No, there was one email that was like, there was something hidden in behind a panel in like...
Yeah,
the-
The garbage disposal.
in the
Yeah.
garbage disposal.
Panel 7. Let's go there and look.
That
Somewhere
said,
storage, yeah.
the pneumatic tube said some cyberware is sitting in engineering.
Oh, in
but
engineering,
I suppose
Yeah.
the garbage disposal is... Well, they're both about equidistant to each other,
Yeah.
so...
Well,
Hmm.
garbage disposal is on the way to storage, which is on the way to engineering, so all kinds of works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
It'll
objections?
eventually lead to mainframe.
Aye.
No, it's a clear methodical sweep of the place. That makes total
Yeah.
sense to me.
So Jonathan takes lead. He leads you out of the office, down the corridor, and then you round the corner past the doors that lead to the smoking area and come to a thick metal door with a sign nailed to the front of it that reads "Garbage Disposal. Careful, no entry unless authorized." It's not locked or anything, though.
Oh, that's
I'll
over
read
authorized.
We're the closest things to something authorized around here.
Yeah. So Jonathan presses his shoulder carefully against the door and it creaks as it opens. The putrid smell of decaying flesh assaults your senses, accompanied by the deafening grinding of machinery. An industrial grinder covered in dried blood, flesh, and viscera sits in the very center of the room, grinding relentlessly. A pile of corpses, at least 10 to 15 of them, lies strewn about the room. A quick glance tells you that some of them are older than the others. Some of them are nearly skeletal, while others quite fresh. At least one of them is wearing a UCS Citadel security uniform and clutching a shotgun in one of its hands. There's a huge control panel on the far side of the room. 2 metal lockers on the attached to the southernmost wall. And along the easternmost wall, a stack of heavy metal containers. Empty. At least you think they're empty based on what you could see from here, and more than big enough to hide inside.
Something ain't quite right here. Let me go first, then go check out the containers. And Kitty will grapple over to the nearest locker and perch on it.
Yep.
Herf gun out ready to blast.
So Kitty, as you grab your grappling hook, hurl it across the room and fling yourself across the garbage disposal towards the locker, you hear an electronic whirring. You look up and see a gigantic grabber arm moving towards the doorway where you were standing. Reach
Look
down and grasp air, and then lift itself up and drop said air into the grinder.
Oh, it is a giant claw machine. And where are the gotchas?
It's not as slow as its size would tell you, though. It quickly readjusts its bearing and shoots out towards the lockers, meaning to grab you. Zzz. Roll me an agility acrobatics to scramble out of the way.
Works for me. I'll keep it busy while you lot find a way to shut it down. And let's see, that's 16.
16. Nice. You leap down off the top of the locker onto a corpse below as the arm clasps around the top of the locker, wrenches the top of the door away, and drops it into the grinder, where it makes an ear-splitting cacophony of warping, bending, groaning metal. Everyone else, you're standing in the doorway. Is there anything you'd like to go for while Kitty has the arm distracted?
Is there any obvious way that it can see? Like a security camera or a big HAL-style eye or something?
Ooh, good idea. Make me a presence investigate check.
So I figure if I can't see, it can't grab.
That's a good idea.
It's 19.
19. You see attached to the base of the arm what appears to be a single camera lens that rapidly sweeps the room.
Does there seem to be any obvious control panels or anything, or is this?
Yeah, there's
somewhere else?
there's a control panel on the opposite side of the room, but you're not sure if that controls the arm. You could try. Entirely up to you.
Yeah. No, the arm's coming from like the ceiling, isn't it? But the eye's on the
the eye's on the base
the base, so closer to the
of
ceiling.
the arm. Yeah. You could try to shoot it, but it is a quite high ceiling, and it's quite a small camera lens by comparison. Small, and the arm's also constantly like swiveling around, and so it's a small moving target.
No, Kitty's the one with the Herf gun.
Yeah. Do you want to just make a break for the control panel?
I suppose for now, yeah.
Yeah.
Just hope it's somewhat connected to that.
Paradigm tells Jonathan and Ghost to stay where they are and starts sprinting across the garbage disposal, nearly tumbling, nearly tripping over one of the corpses sprawled across the ground. The arm senses Paradigm entering the room, immediately whirls around and tries to grab him.
I'll try and get its attention by moving just as he gets in.
Ooh, okay. So, Kitty, go ahead, make me another agility acrobatics check.
Alright. $18.
18.
Nice.
The claw grabs a corpse that you lift off the ground and toss at it. The corpse is dropped into the grinder, and you and Paradigm are showered with bits of bone and blood as Paradigm reaches the control panel at the opposite end of the room. It appears to be... Yep, go ahead.
Actually, this is good. I'll just start chucking corpses to it to help it out.
Yeah. Well, you immediately head to the nearest corpse, lift it up and toss it into the air to distract the arm, buying Paradigm a few precious seconds to look over the control panel. It appears to be completely analog. There isn't much in the way of electronics. Nothing that it looks like Ghost could hack into. This is an industrial control panel for an industrial garbage disposal system. It requires very specific training to use, but not the type of training that would allow you to hack things. So, Paradigm, do you have the mechanics skill?
Not mechanics, no.
So you're going to have to just go ahead and roll knowledge for me.
Yeah, basically just looking for a big red button that's hopefully just a emergency stop button.
Yep.
Just straight knowledge, you said, wasn't it?
Yep, straight knowledge.
That's a 5.
5. Glitch.
I've only got one left, so probably not for this. I have a backup idea anyway.
You grab a random lever, just picking one at random without knowing what it will do, and you pull it. Immediately an alarm klaxon begins to sound, and an electronic voice echoes from an unseen speaker. Emergency furnace activated. Please evacuate room in 10, 9, 8.
Time to evacuate the room.
The room is suddenly...
the voice?
The air in the room is suddenly incredibly hot, and little jets of flame begin to gush out of grating, scattered around the garbage grinder.
I think it's time to run.
Yeah, Kitty and Paradigm, go ahead, make me agility athletics checks.
15.
15.
16.
16. And Paradigm?
My agility's better than my knowledge, isn't it?
Hopefully.
That's 12.
12. The DR on this is 14. So far, Kitty and Jonathan have passed it. And Ghost doesn't need to because she's incorporeal. She sort of just blinks and then she's standing a safe distance outside the doorway.
It's gonna be me.
Well, the door isn't shutting, so you might get lightly toasted, but you should survive.
And yeah. So Kitty scrambles out of the room, hurling herself at Jonathan, and Jonathan's nearly bowled over from the impact. You turn around and see Paradigm dodging, weaving around the jets of flame as the klaxon rings. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'll wedge
Paradigm,
something in the door just in case.
just in case. Yep. You hurl out your grappling hook, and this will help Paradigm. He was going to be trapped in there and was probably going to burn to death in a few rounds, but as you wrap your grappling hook around the door as it begins to rattle and slide down, you give him just enough that he's able to hit the dirt and slide under the door as the entire garbage disposal is engulfed in flame. Whoosh! And Paradigm's feet are singed for 8 points of damage, and you may roll armor.
Oof.
As Kitty retracts the cable, the door rattles and slams shut, and you hear the roar of flame consuming everything on the other side, and then a high-pitched female scream as the little girl who was hiding in the secret compartment burns to death.
Well,
He screams and screams and screams, and it seems to go on forever. But it's actually only a few seconds. She's incinerated quite quickly, and you could call that small comfort.
hang on.
Still an incredibly painful couple of
Can
seconds.
we rewind a bit?
Yeah?
Paradigm? Eat the walls between her and the way out. Go straight down the row through the container, try to reach Cubicle 7, give her a shot. Go.
Well... Okay, I'll allow Paradigm to roll again. You're still going to take the 8 points of damage, but if you can get 16 on an agility athletics roll, then you'll have time to snatch her on the way out.
Oh, I wasn't saying that. I'm saying as we realize there's
Oh, yeah,
somebody there,
Yeah.
we go
Well-
with that. He basically goes and shoots straight down
Well, the thing is, you wouldn't know there's somebody there until you
until
hear
she
a
started
scream.
screaming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
We don't even know which
unfortunately,
panel it's there.
yeah,
No.
Too sad.
No.
Too bad. So sad.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, it was an idea.
You hang your heads in shame, but for just a moment, at least you weren't the ones burning to death, because as ghastly as it sounds, you're the only ones who can put a stop to whatever's going on in this place. Where to next?
Storage, I'm thinking.
Storage? Yep.
See if they got any burn cream.
It's a short walk up the
I
corridor.
don't think that's going to help at this point.
Yeah, most definitely not. It's only a short walk down the corridor from garbage disposal to storage, and the lights are definitely on. You can see light peeking under the crack of the door, but when you reach over to open the door, you find it locked.
Well, we've got a key now, don't we?
Indeed you do. And so, Kitty, you reach into your bag, fish out the key, stick it in the lock, and turn it, and click! Sure enough, the door to the storage room opens. Lost hope, last stand, makeshift fortifications, smell of death. There are two bodies in the middle of the room, recently diseased, based on the fact that the pools of blood around them are still fresh. One of them's clutching a 9mm pistol in his hand, the other a handful of throwing knives. Boxes upon boxes are filled to the brim with duct tape, sticky notes, coffee cans, pencils, and extension cords. And by the opposite door, a locked, bulletproof medical cabinet. Through the bulletproof glass, you can see more than enough supplies to keep a hospital running for at least a month. There are 3 narrow windows along the wall to your left. Peering through them, you can look down into the smoking area.
Alright. Jonathan, do you want to stock up, or is there anything in particular we should take from this, or should we just leave it and move on?
Is there anything that stands out as immediately valuable or useful?
So
Because at this
here-
point, it'd be assumed that the medicine is mostly useless.
mostly expired. And sure enough, Jonathan, as you peer through the glass, you can tell by the coloration of most of the medicine that most of it is expired, but you do see 4 injectors of red juice that appear to still be usable, and your eyes light up, Jonathan. There's a gold-plated syringe with a label reading Neuroadrenaline. This stuff's been off the market for at least 30 years now. There was a scandal at the time. Apparently, the medicine makes people who take it quite prone to having heart attacks. I say heart attacks, but it's more just like the heart explodes. But that was only in every about 1 in 5 cases. The actual medicine itself is a miracle cure. Injecting it will immediately heal whoever injected it back to full health and give them half their HP in temporary hit points for 1d6 hours.
Jonathan's gonna
Oh,
have
damn.
a look around the cabinet to see if there's any motion or vibration sensors that are common with cars and such. So if you break the glass, that sets off the alarm. And if there doesn't seem to be anything notable, he's just gonna elbow in.
Yeah. You can't see one. It looks like the threat of termination, losing your job, was enough to keep wandering hands out. So you grab out your crowbar, and the glass turns out to be bulletproof. Simply smashing the crowbar at it doesn't do anything, but luckily the cabinet is small enough and flimsy enough that you jam your crowbar into the crack behind the door and pull, and then with a loud crash, the door's wrenched off its hinges, granting you access to 4 injectors of red juice and that oh so potent neuroadrenaline.
Delicious.
As Jonathan's looting the medicine, I would like Ghost and Kitty and Paradigm to make me presence investigation checks.
Alright then.
11.
11. Well, actually, you can substitute your investigation with technology.
Hey, 18.
Ghost.
Sorry, what was that?
You can substitute your investigate with technology, actually.
Then that's 13.
13, lovely. And Paradigm?
18 here.
Only a 7 from me.
That's okay. So Paradigm's just sort of peering down into the smoking area while Kitty and Ghost do one last search of the room, and nothing much in the boxes or shelves, just old office equipment and tools that you could pick up at any street market for a pittance. Your eyes are drawn to the 2 dead punks lying in a pool of their own blood in the room. Their gear isn't particularly valuable. The guns and throwing knives are standard issue affair, and they're not wearing anything in the way of armor that's better than what you've already got. But, Kitty, you're the one who notices an insignia engraved into the RED access port of one of the punks. You point it out to Ghost, and Ghost, you recognize it immediately. Both of these punks are members of Vera Coiling's hacker collective. You're not the first they've sent here.
Oh, Jesus. They should definitely have told us that.
But they did not.
Seems like
Those
they're not telling us a
motherfuckers.
lot of things.
Really now, that was entirely uncalled for. I thought we gained some measure of trust. They would have done it regardless.
Yeah, but looks
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, they consider you disposable.
Nah.
Which sets your nerves slightly on edge as you step out of the other door at the opposite end of the storage room and out into the corridor with the door to the locker room directly in front of you, and beyond that, engineering.
Into the locker room then. I'll try to sneak through the door so as not to alert anything in there.
Good idea. I would like all of you, if you're following Kitty, to make me agility stealth checks, please.
Well, with being small, that's an 8, so I fail.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
9.
9. Ooh. Well, that's alright. Doesn't matter. Unless Paradigm gets a nat 20, it's going to be a fail for the group. So what do you get, Paradigm?
Nah, it's only a 13.
13, yeah. So Kitty's the first through, and she carefully opens the door, trying not to alert anything that might be on the other side. Not that you have any reason to believe there's anything on the other side, Then she steps through the doorway, immediately trips over a yellow hazmat suit that's just lying on the ground on the other side, and swears loudly as her monosword clatters loudly on the concrete. Luckily, there's nothing in the room. Nothing in this room, at least. So, Kitty quickly recovers from the embarrassment, and you all scurry into the locker room, pulling the door shut behind you. The locker room. It's a place of grease, sweat, and toxic jokes. Aside from the yellow hazmat suit that Kitty tripped over, there's another 3 hanging up inside open lockers. A rack at the other end of the room with a row of hard hats, and sitting on a wooden crate in front of one of the lockers, what appears to be a handheld flare gun, complete with 5 spare flares.
Somebody should be taking that. I will if nobody else does.
Yeah, feel free. Jonathan's pockets are pretty full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of jingles as he walks now.
Direct-
So this is why they had hazmat suits.
That's a question. And is the door to engineering like airlock style?
So, the door to engineering is just a standard metal door like all the others you've seen, but the one directly to your right, which is labelled pump room, is surrounded by sensors and a sign, a faded sign hanging on the wall reads, "Hazardous materials, hazmat suits only."
I don't see a reason to go in there unless we don't find anything else in the engineering and mainframe, really.
And then you remember the email you read back in the office that something was leaking in the pump room, something leaking out from the sewers. The person who wrote the email was hoping that maintenance would close the hatch, and it looks like they cheaped out, installed a shitty airlock, and just asked whoever enters to wear hazmat suits instead.
That's corporate logic for you.
A quick search of the lockers reveals that most of them are empty. There's a couple personal effects here and there, but nothing worth taking. Although if someone wanted to, you could probably take those hazmat suits. Might be worth something on the market. They seem to be almost brand new.
That is true. I'll empty my backpack of meals and pile 4 of them in.
4 of them in. And then, as you approach the door to the engineering room, you hear a most disconcerting sound. Someone whistling. Jollily whistling like they're in the middle of their daily routine. Only there's more than one of them. At least 12 voices whistling in unison.
Okay, I admit that's a mite creepy.
That is oddly disturbing.
Well, I'll try to quietly slide the door open just far enough to get a peek.
So, Kitty, opening the... what's your agility, by the way?
3.
3, and I'll add your small bonus for 4. Okay, no need to roll. Because, Kitty, as you push the door open, you glimpse on the other side a junkyard, a chop shop, grease and engine parts, and sparks. Nothing out of the ordinary, except for the 2 bodies of recently deceased punks, branded with Vera coilings, icon laying next to the floor. There are multiple drill holes in their heads. Lying beyond them, scattered across the floor, are heaps of scrap robot parts. Disembodied arms, legs, rotors, and pistons. And beyond them, in the center of the room, an immense robot, at least 20 feet tall, busy using 4 of its arms to weld bot parts to bits of punks' bodies. There are 12 NFT displays on the front of its gigantic frame. The same face emblazoned on each one, all of them whistling a jolly song as this immense robot goes about its grisly task.
Wow. Kitty
This is
eases,
not where the survivors are.
Kitty eases the door shut. So, I'm not seeing a reason to engage that master maker.
Fuck no.
I mean,
Right, one way around.
whatever that cyber hand is, I'm not sure it's worth fighting that. So long way around to the mainframe. Bye.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go long way around to the mainframe.
Long way round. That
Yeah.
said, I will point out, Kitty, that you do notice that the robot seems to be quite absorbed in its work. The door to engineering's quite rusty and it creaks a little bit as you push it open, and the robot didn't seem to notice that.
I am going to roll a knowledge check to see if my common sense kicks in. 15. Be tempting to search for that arm, but we'll see how the mainframe room goes.
Long way around then.
Long way around.
Carefully pull the door shut behind you. Make your way back through the locker room and around the corner to the mainframe. There's a thick sliding door similar to the one that cuts off the VR area from the rest of the building, with another old-fashioned card reader by the side of it. Same message blinking. Insert employee ID now.
Oh, Dale, before I shut the door to engineering, I would like to see where the pneumatic tube that goes to the office comes out at.
With the door open only a crack, and the engineering being as vast as it is, you can't see that without actually
Alright.
going into the room.
Never mind then. Worth a shot. So, now we need employee access. Well, we haven't been find any cards for that effect, so Ghost,
No, yeah.
I think it's your turn now.
I'll see
Yeah.
what I can do.
Don't get
Well,
brain burnt this time. Go
If
ahead.
it doesn't work, we're gonna have to fight that maker, so...
Yeah. Make me a knowledge technology check, please.
Can I get a DR drop somewhere?
Yep.
I will. I have
Go
faith
ahead,
in you,
if
so
someone's
I'll
got
throw a glitch to drop it.
Yeah, alright. So it's going to go from DR16 to DR12.
Dude.
So that was what, sorry? The roll?
So DRR, so knowledge technology.
Okay, that's 14.
Ah,
14. This time, you all inwardly sigh in relief as beep beep. The card reader says access granted, and the door just slides open without overloading Ghost with biofeedback. You know exactly what to expect this time, Ghost, and you're not going to allow yourself to fall for the same trick as last time. You make sure to isolate that one particular line of code, and then it's easy to get in and out. You step through the door into the crypto farm, the computer brain. The air in here is freezing cold. You can see your own breath. I'd like everyone to go ahead, make me a toughness survival check.
hey, I got that skill now.
Yeah,
17.
17,
A 12.
12.
That skill may have just saved me.
Yeah.
God damn, a 5.
5.
It is not your day.
And Ghost. Actually, Ghost, you don't have to
Not too
roll.
bad.
You are a being of technology, and this cold room, this just makes your processor run faster. To Ghost, time seems to slow down as you enter the room, as the freezing temperature allows her incorporeal AI form to run 1,000,000 more calculations a second. The rest of you pull your clothing tight around yourself, protecting yourselves from that system shock of entering such a cold room. Except for you, Paradigm. Your naval mouth is always there. It always needs to breathe. And even though you pull your clothes tightly around your shoulders, that hole that you've gouged just below your stomach so that the naval mouth can breathe is enough exposed skin that instantly your pain receptors are on fire as you take 3 points of damage from the cold. Inside the room are rows of computer racks. This tech, Ghost, is new and quite sophisticated. It's obvious someone must have installed it all recently. You don't need to ask who. The big gleaming Allianson logos on the server racks answer that for you. And in the middle of the room, there's the mainframe. Huge and ominous. It floods the entire room with a crimson afterglow. There are enough jack sockets on the mainframe for up to 15 people to be jacked in at the same time.
God damn.
One of the sockets is already taken up by what you immediately recognize, Ghost, as an electronic key. Either remote storage or some sort of remote broadcasting device. It's hanging out of one of the jack sockets, a little red light blinking as it processes torrents of data being fed in from the various cameras throughout the facility and whatever's left of Blazer's consciousness. What would you like to do?
Okay. I don't know if I have anything around me that's going to be have high enough capacity to store all of that.
No, I don't think you do. The only possible option you can think of would be to remotely upload all of these NFTs to your brain box. Unfortunately, that would make it so there's no room for you in your own brain box, and at least temporarily, until you could figure out what to do with all these consciousnesses, you'd be mortal again.
You know, we could let him loose on the internet.
If you could somehow set up a connection to the net, you could simply let these consciousnesses roam free. However,
I don't know, man. Like that was pretty hard for me, and I was a fucking net runner.
yeah,
All right.
I will point out, Ghost, that with your technology knowledge, it's quite obvious to you that something is wrong. When you upload a consciousness, like to a brain box, you upload it whole. That's what you did to your very own personality. These consciousnesses have been minted as NFTs. They've already been broken down piece by piece. Someone's ingenuity has become an NFT. Their sense of humor, another. Their shame and insecurity at their slightly off-center nose, yet one more.
Who would buy that one?
Well, at least they're not oddly colored, badly drawn apes, but I mean, it's still.
Yeah.
They're robbing people of everything they are.
And the most
Yeah.
valuable ones, at least according to how the mainframes organize the NFTs based into tiers ranking from S to D, the most valuable ones appear to be those that capture the last 5 to 10 seconds of the person's consciousness, that moment of sheer terror and anguish as their personality is stripped away, wrenched from their body. As they're trapped in the throes of whatever vert-induced hallucination, whatever living nightmare they're experiencing, now doomed to unknowingly experience it over and over and over.
I don't know how much I can fix this. Like,
I mean, at the sounds of it, they're not even people anymore. They're just fragments.
Yeah.
Like, would you even really be releasing anyone?
It might be possible to reconstitute them, but it's the type of activity that would probably take years.
Or, says Kitty, or you can give the key to me.
why?
Given time, I think I can get them sorted. Or at the very least, the ones that don't come through will be happier.
Care to elaborate?
It's very complicated.
The real question is, Ghost, according to the monitor on the mainframe console, all of the NFTs stored within are waiting to be transferred to the blockchain. They're waiting to be transferred to an external location, and there is a single connection from this mainframe to a single other location, the eventual destination of all of these fragmented personalities. The connection is dormant. It's waiting for whoever's on the other end to activate it and initiate the transfer. You could probably start it on this end, but the security, whatever security is there to prevent anyone from breaking into this mainframe or appropriating anything in it, would most likely be aware the moment you opened up that connection.
Do you share this?
Yeah.
Oh. They're not going anywhere. There's no way to easily reconstitute them, Ghost. We could send them through and spike it so that you send a tracker through too to figure out where the other end is. Then we can go and raid the fuck out of this place and shut down the operation, because just shutting this one down, though, we have it to back up in no time. Just somewhere else doing the same thing. But if we figure out where the important place is that they're sending these for storage and further experimentation, we can go and blow the shit out of that place. And
Oh,
save
God
these
damn
people
it.
along the way. We can retrieve them on the other end and save them there.
Oh god, this is
Someone
one of
with
those,
a-
like, moral obligation things, isn't it?
I gotta try to save him, but
Fucking hell.
I'm not the only one in this. And Kate looks at the rest. Y'all have say in this too. I'm just spinning ideas. And much as I'd like to say I'm your captain, honestly, I'm more your friend. You're all very competent people, and you don't need a captain.
So I will point out...
Also, we never agreed to that. So,
Yeah.
Well, you didn't say no, and I'm wearing the captain's hat, so, you know.
So you're the captain. So I will point out that Kitty's plan of action is possible, but it will be very difficult. It would be much easier to simply turn the mainframe off or delete the contents. Make sure that there's nothing to be sent anywhere.
Pour some water over the mainframe.
I could,
The easier
instead of
option
making
here
a
is
tracker, make a
destruction.
virus.
Mm.
I don't think there's any getting these people back together, Kitty. I really don't.
Even I could only say I could try. I don't guarantee it neither.
Either way, spiking them or sending anything through that connection is going to be much more difficult than simply erasing the server. Destruction is the easy option, but you might be able to get more if you're willing to risk it.
Let's stop and think for a minute. What is our specific job here? What are we getting paid to do?
Your objective, figure out what's going on, put a stop to it. Rescue any survivors, if there are any that are capable of wanting to be rescued, and it is unlikely that any of the NFTs in this server are capable of experiencing anything right now other than abject horror.
That's more of a question for the group, but that does answer it regardless.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
So that means that
But is shutting this
all we have to
place
do
down
is
count?
destroy this or let them out somehow. Like, those are our choices. Then we're done. That's it.
You say let them. They're not people. They're gifts, man. Like,
Then
blow it up. Whatever. So if they're functionally dead, then pull the plug.
They are gifts trapped in forever in a hell. I don't like it, but if you think it's best, I'll follow your lead, Ghost. You're the expert here.
Fucking hell. Jeez, man, this is fucked up. Fuck.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, here's this. Can you reroute it to a different location, send them there, and retrieve them later?
It's possible. It won't be as difficult as spiking them, but it would still be difficult. You're looking at top-of-the-line alliance and equipment here. There's going to be some good security.
Do our communications still work? Like, if I tried to call someone outside of the facility?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Look, man, they're doing this for the money, right? They're selling these.
Wouldn't be any other reason to do it that you could think of.
Absolutely.
We could shut down this facility, any other facility. Yeah, that would stop them for a while, but they could make other ones.
Aye.
Why don't we poison the market?
Release them for free?
No. That's capitalist.
All right.
It's still no.
All right.
Make them malware.
Poison the will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ruin their reputation. I
And
could
since
do
they're
that.
all on this
It's
side,
not
the
that. It
security
wouldn't
would
be
be
that
less.
hard. Yeah, I could corrupt all these files and then send them through. They wouldn't. That's pretty trivial, really.
And the file corruption would probably strip away their consciousness given time. Yeah?
That's a tall order.
Well, okay. But this is a good solution, Ghost. I'm thinking that's probably the best we're gonna get out of this.
You've already saved... Well, you've saved part of one who's currently in Kitty's brain, and you've got the RAM that contains pieces of 3 more. So you've saved some, but you've got to spill some eggs. So who's going to be the proxy who jacks in?
Let me ask you this, though. Can you withdraw Blaze's information? So I can
why?
try sucking him back together.
Fuck. Okay, I'll try, but
Relax. This is a long shot.
And with
It's all
Captain
fragmented.
Kitty Bang Bang, we'll sign on to join her crew. Let's
also
make
apparently
those dogs
insane.
Dead. Shoot him in the head.
Yeah. Bang bang kitty, pretty kitty bang bang. Do, 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 do.
If Kitty is actually singing right now, then Ghost is not going to go through with this request.
No,
No, she's kind of humming along.
Humming along.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
humming along
This is
to
not
a song that
firing
you can't
constant.
hear. Humming along to a song you can't hear.
Give it a shot, Ghost. What do you got to lose?
Alright, in we go.
What, apparently?
Yeah, I mean, fuck. Did you see what this shit did to me last time? Fine.
This is
Fine. I'll try it, but I'm not fucking investing all myself in this, okay? Just
You're
fuck.
the best
Okay.
hacker I know, Ghost.
Kitty, are you the proxy again?
Of course.
Alright. Kitty steps forwards, unhinges the cable, and as everyone watches, jams it into the mainframe and whoosh! It doesn't feel like it normally does, Kitty. Feels like something's gnawing at the inside of your skull, squeezing your brain, crushing it down.
Go quickly.
And then you're there, inside the mainframe, standing on a plateau of data. The NFTs neatly arranged in data nodes in front of you. Before you have a chance to approach any of them, the entire plateau lights up bright red. A klaxon rings out as Arlianson's top-of-the-line black ice begins to converge upon your location. A swarm of glowing red nanites, like a tornado. Go ahead, Ghost. Now, to do what you were going to do to spike them, that will be DR18. If you're going to try to reconstitute as much a blaze as you can, you have two choices. You can do them both separately, which will put you at risk of getting attacked by the ice, in which case you'll make a DR18 and then a DR14. Or you can try to do this quickly, do it all together, and you'll be at less risk of being consumed by the ice, but also you'll have to make a DR20 roll.
I'll kick 2 glitches in to lower it to DR12 if you want to take that route.
Okay,
You have two
I'll
glitches
take
left.
the 2 glitches.
Yeah. Alright. DR12 then.
We're going for the single thing.
Yep.
I'm thinking.
And
Yeah,
what was
you're
the
cool with
what was the roll?
Agility technology. You got to do it fast before
Okay,
that
well-
tornado of ice is upon you.
It's 12 on the die, 18 total.
18 total. The ice swarm is a blood-red tornado, a crimson finger reaching up from the horizon, twisting, coiling as it begins to bear down upon you, but you work fast, Ghost. Sweeping through the data, your mind passing nanobytes in a fraction of a second. You locate what remains ablaze. At least the portions of it that haven't yet been split away, minted as NFTs. Only about 50% of his consciousness remains, but it's enough to make him somewhat functional human again, if the body problem can be solved. And then, when you're in there grabbing him out, it's only a simple matter of rewriting a couple bits in the remaining NFTs. Just a couple bits here and there, some ones that change to zeros. Each time you make the change, the person contained within the NFT screams in anguish and torture. And as you lace them with malware, you can't help but wonder if maybe somehow you're making their pain worse. You tell yourself that they're not sentient anymore. They can't feel it. They can't feel anything. And then as the tornado descends and you find yourself standing in the eye of the storm, you prime the malware and eject. Drah! Kitty wrenches the cable out of the hole and the electronic key that's jacked into the mainframe blinks one more time, whirs, and turns off. No more data is being processed.
We should get out of here now. And Ghost, Kitty goes and hugs her leg. You're fucking awesome.
Oh,
As
fuck.
as you turn to leave,
Oh,
you
damn.
hear an electronic whir. The screen on the mainframe console lights up, and you find, staring at you from the other side, a slender, severe-faced woman with long blonde hair, clad in an incredibly, unimaginably expensive, tailored business suit, a silver Arlianson pin on her lapel. She smiles. Ah! So you're the ones who've been a thorn in my side. It's so nice to finally put a face to the names.
Aye, because, we're all so nondescript and hard to spot in a crowd.
True. Your names and faces were all over our mainframe, all over our servers, until somebody scrubbed them clean. And so, we decided to set up some bait. The woman chuckles. I'm Mrs. Leah, CEO and President of Allianson Incorporated. And let me assure you, it is your pleasure and your honor that I'm taking the time to personally address you. Mrs. Leah makes her way, turns away from you, crosses her office, and settles into a black leather chair that has the size and shape of a king's throne. She leans over an imposing mahogany desk. So, I'm detecting that you've opened the connection with our mainframe and initiated the transfer of our Mind NFTs. And, well, I'm sure you've primed them with malware or put a tracker in them or something. You're trying to poison the well, right?
Fuck's that baby shit. Come on.
Of course. I'm speaking to Ghost, after all. Lena Lundgren, the best hacker in all of Psy. I will give credit where it is due. Don't worry. What's on that mainframe was not intended for the open market. You have not harmed any of Allianson's income streams. No, those served a different purpose. This is the part where I monologue. I'm going to grant you the kindness of telling you what you're caught up in before I put you to death. But first, I'll open the floor to you. Any ideas what it is? Do you have any idea what it is that you're even trying to meddle with?
Oh, it's even.
The experiments, the hallucinations, the group hallucinations, the mind-ripping. Surely the pieces have fallen into place. If they haven't, then I'm afraid all that reputation, all those rumors flying around about you must have been very unfounded. You're nothing more than dumb muscle mercenaries who are incapable of insight, capable of nothing more than following orders. So go ahead. I want to hear what you think.
Kitty looks around at the others.
Ghost leaves the room.
Ghost leaves the room. Miss Lundgren, I'm sure, understands what's happening.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You're giving us your time, but miss, you can't afford our time. Keep my seat warm for me, I'm coming. And Cordelia follows Ghost out.
Jonathan kind of like squeezes the grip of his assault rifle, then slings it onto his back and leaves the room as well. He doesn't care. She's evil and she's awful, and he's not playing this game.
Yeah. He just is he gonna shoot the screen, or is he just gonna sling the assault rifle and step out?
No, he's stepping out.
That leaves Paradigm, and Mrs. Leah seems to know that he's the last one in the room. She smiles, folding her fingers together, resting them on the mahogany desk. The light catches the artificial sunlight or whatever light her office catches her, and for a moment she almost looks serene, angelic. And you, Paradigm? The nanobots in your body have already connected you to something greater than you are. You've already scratched the surface. Surely you wish to gaze beyond and find out what awaits.
Is there any like obvious camera or anything on the monitor, like how she's viewing us, or is it?
You can guess she's probably viewing you through one of those little pinpricks in the ceiling.
Yeah. No, just sort of like look to the screen, and just like my best guess, you're some sort of corporate big shot aiming higher than they should. They'll just flips off the screen and walks out.
Higher than I should. Higher than anyone has any right to... The screen turns off as Paradigm turns and steps out of the room.
Kitty blinks and messages the others. Alright, we're in a kill zone. Hazmat suits on, we're going out through the sewers.
Out through the sewers. Make your way past... Yeah. As you make your way back down the corridor towards the locker room, you can still hear the whistling of the welder beyond the door, going about its grisly task. And as you approach the pump room, as you pull the hazmat suits out of the lockers and begin to slide into them, you hear an explosion, a bang coming from the direction of the foyer. Go, 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 go! You can hear the Alliance and Kill team barking their orders, patched in, intercepted by Ghost. As you step towards the pump room door and it sprays you with air, cleansing you, before it slides open and admits you to the sewer beyond. To the sewer.
I'll find it.
So you've chosen to escape through the sewers. Very well, very well.
Oh, they'll have the main building surrounded.
Yeah.
And then the sites of many, many missiles, gunships, or whatever the fuck else they got. It's out freestanding alone, we wouldn't get out.
And as
I'd love so much if there was nothing out there.
Just them.
That would be funny, but I don't think that's how it is.
To the mainframe! Go, 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 go! Shoot to kill! Shoot to kill! The orders bark through the comm channels as Kitty grabs the valve handle on the hatch in the middle of the pump room, and as the terrible stench overwhelms your senses as the noxious green gas emanates from underneath the hatch, she turns it and turns it and turns it until crash! It snaps off its hinges and drops down the shaft. There's a distant splash as it lands in the sewer waters below. And as one by one, You begin, as one by one, you glimpse over your shoulders to make sure you're not being followed, and jump down into the hole. You hear the sounds of gunfire and 12 voices chanting and whistling in unison as the welder gets to work.
You go, lad. Glad we left you alive.
Yeah.
Splash. Splash. Surprise, it's a fucking sewer. Knee-deep, thick sewage. Unidentified, very moist noises. An animal-like machine growl somewhere off in the darkness. A rotting flesh stench coming from a pile of ground corpses dropped from the garbage disposal above. You press on. Onwards, sloshing through the muck and the goo, the sickness and the death, until your heart sink. The last thing you wanted to hear as you made your way out. Please, my child, I'll do anything. Please, my child, I'll do anything. Please, my child, I'll do anything. 3 blockchained captives sloshing through the water, priming their drill arms as they catch sight of you and ready themselves.
Sloshing through the electrically conductive water.
Sloshing through the electrically conductive water, which
Let's
is
just
what,
get this over and done with.
is what Ghost is going to do.
Hop off to the sides and...
And as Ghost prepares to electrify the water, giving a silent signal to the others, and they clamber up onto the ledges that run alongside the sewer tunnel, there's a thump! Ripples run across the surface of the water. Another thump! In the distance, a great animal roar as the blockchain captives begin to whir their drills, rush forwards, and then... splash. Something huge, something scaly, something with a huge tail, a maw of sharp carnivorous teeth, and 2 tiny arms leaps out of the water, smashing 2 of the bots under its great tail and chomping the last one to bits with a single munch of its mouth. The Sewer Rex is upon you.
Tyrannosaurus Rex. I thought he was a legend.
You always heard that size sewers were the dumping ground for all sorts of corporate experiments, things that should not exist. And you've just so happened to encounter one of them. Go ahead, roll initiative.
Well, that was my idea to come down here,
Yep,
so I
you
guess...
go ahead, do it.
And we want high numbers, yeah?
Yep.
Alright. Well, let's see what the dice says. 1.
Enemy goes first. The
Kitty's
sewer...
like...
The
Kitty's
sewer...
like-
Yeah, go, Kitty. What do you do?
Alright, the last one had no foreshadowing and she was basically lame, but this is a true boss. I'm happy.
Yeah. The sewer Rex opens its mouth and lets out a roar so strong that you're nearly buffeted off the side of the ledge into the water. You hold onto the brick wall of the tunnel, squeezing your muscles with all your might until the creature closes its maw and rushes in for an attack. It's going to attempt to bite Kitty, as she's the one who spoke. Go ahead, Kitty. Roll me a DR4... Well, actually, DR12, because Jonathan's here with Bodyguard.
Alright. So, that is just a 12. Small might add to it, but even either way, I've got it.
12? That's enough. You leap off the ledge as the T-Rex's teeth clamp down on the ledge, crunching the brick and concrete to dust. The T-Rex roars again, and then he straightens up, raises his thick tail, and slams it in an arc. And I would like everybody now to roll to dodge.
Natural 20.
So Kitty will get a bonus attack in a moment.
Alright.
Not natural 20.
Also not natural 20.
At Paradigm.
Oh god. A 10.
A 10. So Jonathan and Ghost and Kitty duck as the huge tail whooshes overhead. And Paradigm, you're about to roll out of the way, but you bump up against something unseen under the water, the chassis of a burnt-out blockchain robot, and stumble as you take the full force of the tail, and you take 5 points of damage. You may roll your armor.
Okay. That's 3, so I only take 2.
2, lovely. Alright, Kitty, you get a bonus attack.
So as it bites her, she leaps up, grappling over it, swinging over, and how big are its eyes?
Each of its eyes is about the size of a football, glowing
Awesome.
bright
Awesome.
yellow in the darkness.
Kitty says, "Flashbang, mind your eyes," and drops one straight on it as she swings by.
Nice.
So it roars upward and the grenade falls, boops it on the snoot.
Yep. As it lands on the T-Rex's nose, it goes off. The T-Rex screams, roars, flailing his tiny little arms as the tiny sewer tunnel is filled with bright light and ringing. He does not pass the check, and he is inflicted by the flashbang. And now we go...
Only 2 rounds, but hey.
Only 2 rounds. Kitty leaps off the T-Rex's head and lands in the water as Jonathan goes.
So how tough does the hide of this thing look?
Well,
That's my in-game way of asking what its armor
You're
value would probably
you're
be.
not quite sure, because you look at it and it's mostly covered in scales, but here and there, the scales give way to feathers, and yet more parts just have folds of leathery skin. It looks quite tough, but if you get the right spot, if you get one of those feathery or fleshy parts rather than the tough scales, maybe you might be able to deal some damage.
Okay, so to initially start with, since it's so startling, Jonathan's going to auto-fire at it, but with the armor-piercing mod that I purchased, just single-use ignore D6 armor mod.
It'll help.
Nice.
Go ahead, roll to hit it, and you only require a DR8 to hit it because of the flashbang.
Well, that's 2 armor ignored
Yeah.
for the D6 roll. And that's
armor
a
ignored.
10, 14, 15? 15.
Ooh, nice. So you hit it, go ahead, roll damage.
Sorry, let me find a D8, actually. That's an 8 to start with.
8 to start with, nice. None of that is absorbed by armor as your modified bullet blasts through a chunk of feathers, expelling them into the tunnel. And I presume you're auto-firing.
Yes. So
Go
that's
ahead,
a
roll again.
16, 17?
Yeah, that's a hit. Roll the damage.
It's a 4, but there's no armor piercing
No
for the second
armor.
shot.
Yep, so it's going to roll, and it absorbs all 4 points as your bullet slams off the sewer scales, but you get one more shot.
19 plus something, like 24 or something.
Yeah.
19 on the dice.
Roll the damage.
It's an 8.
8. Nice. It absorbs 4 of that. You deal 4 damage. 12 altogether. Not bad. A cloud of feathers is now floating on the surface of the putrid water. Each bullet slamming into the T-Rex expels yet more down as Jonathan unleashes auto fire, and Ghost, you're up.
Did I ever get to electrify the water?
You can do it now if you wish.
Yeah, everyone out.
Kitty's in it.
I was grappling overhead, so
Grappling
you
overhead,
call if
yeah.
I'm in it or not.
Well, you've landed in it. You'd have a second. You might be able to avoid
Okay.
getting electrified. I'll
Well,
give
here's
you
a question.
chance.
I actually haven't gone this round since I reacted on a nat 20. Can I
Well,
take
yeah.
my action, do something, and get out of the water so Ghost
All
can
right.
do her thing?
All right. So let Ghost go last then. All right, Kitty, you're up.
I'll just take a swipe at the tail with the monosword as I go.
As you clamber out of the water onto the ledge, slashing your monosword. Go ahead, roll to hit it. Only DR 10 required.
Yeah. And that's a 20 plus, so yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's a hit. Roll the damage.
Don't know the exact math, but a 19 on the die. Damage of 7, so hey, I might do something.
7. Lovely. The scales absorb 4 of that, dealing 3. And then Ghost says, 3rd time's the charm! As once again her body dissolves, forming into a spider web of electrical currents that hang on the surface of the water. You see sparks of electricity, fingers of mini lightning surging across the putrid muck. Go ahead for me, Ghost. Make me a DR16 presence technology check.
Ouch. That's 7.
7. Okay.
Would you like a glitch?
If you've got a glitch, you can go ahead.
Yeah, right.
Okay, take another one of mine.
Yeah, take another one.
Baby. What was the DR?
16.
16. Lovely.
Lovely.
Even with flashbang?
Well, yeah, because it's more about Ghost forming herself and holding
got
the
it.
form. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
The
16.
T-Rex roars and setting its sights on Jonathan, it charges forwards, opening its maw, splashing putrid water onto the sides of the tunnel. Jonathan, I'd like you to roll to dodge, please. It'll be DR8, so not hard.
Oh god, that's a 3. Actually, with agility.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, with agility, that's a 7.
7. All right.
Don't you get a bonus to your agility rolls too?
No, I took that off because
No.
it was a bit OP.
Oh, okay. It is
Before
low.
we do that,
It's
though,
for, actually,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, I do. For defensive only. I changed it to defensive, just no offensive.
before we do that, though, I think
That's 8, yeah.
Paradigm has not had his turn yet. So,
No.
Paradigm, you're up.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Jeez. Yeah, just set up on the little ledge that I jumped up on to get away from Ghost's electricity. Just gonna whip out the sniper rifle and have a shot.
Yeah. Gonna aim for one of the soft parts? If so, DR12.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Aim for somewhere that'll hurt. You said DR12, didn't you?
DR12, yep.
Oh, cool. That's a 13.
13, that's a hit. Roll the damage.
Cool. Yeah, I don't like this thing, so instead of rolling, I'm going to spend my last glitch and just do max.
Do max. Alright, what's max damage?
20 for the rifle.
Oof, nice.
2d10.
The tail goes off and the bullet slams into the T-Rex's fleshy underside. The impact is so strong that even this dinosaur is flung backwards from it, and it takes a few seconds to steady itself, roaring in pain, blood gushing from under its maw as it charges forwards, and as Jonathan raises his gun ready to try to follow up, it chomps down. He scrambles to get out of the way, but is a second too late, and
Oh, no, I rolled an
Jonathan... An 8? Oh, you did.
Yeah,
You still got out of the way.
with my defensive bonus, it's an 8.
Ah,
yeah.
yes, yeah. You leap out of the way just as the teeth come down and crunch on the concrete, which is good because the teeth deal 3d10 worth of damage if they hit you.
Well,
And then the
that was not
T-Rex...
that good.
Yeah. The T-Rex roars once more before it arcs its tail and swings the tail right at you before it prepares its charge straight into Ghost's electrified area. So I'd like everyone to make a dodge to see if the tail hits you.
Natural 20.
Natural 20, so Jonathan gets a bonus attack if it survives the electrification.
That's a 14 with Jonathan's bonus. Okay, we're good.
Yep, and Paradigm, and I won't make Ghost roll because she's maintaining her form. She wants it to charge into her, so
Oh yeah, it's 22 to dodge.
22. The T-Rex, blinded by the flashbang, slams its tail into the brick wall. The entire tunnel shakes as debris drops off the ceiling, splashing into the water. And then Jonathan raises his gun and shouts, "Over here, big boy!" as the T-Rex roars and charges ahead straight into the electrified water. Go ahead, Ghost. Roll for me. This is electrified water, so roll 2d10.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. One moment, just busting it out. Okay, that's a 10 and an 8.
10 and an 8. 18 damage. The T-Rex stops in its tracks as the electricity surges up its huge spine. Its tail arcs up and it opens its mouth, letting out a pained roar, and then both of its eyes explode in a mass of blood and ooze as its huge form lumbers forwards, landing with a splash in the water, shaking the entire tunnel. Well done.
Ugh.
I've never been so proud of all ya. Now let's keep running.
Yeah.
But
That's
NFT robots were bad.
As the T-Rex goes down and Ghost reforms behind you, you see a pinprick of light at the end of the tunnel. Daylight. Waiting for you. Give each other one more glance, and you run. Run as fast as you can to what you hope is safety. And that's where we'll conclude this session. Well done, guys.
Ooh.
As you emerge from the sewers, you climb out of a manhole in the middle of a weed-choked, cracked street running through Dreams by K. Fell. The abandoned, half-completed apartment tenement, shrouding you in their shadow, hiding you from an alliance and kill team as the van zooms past, heading towards Triassic Entertainment. A picture appears blinking up in the bottom right-hand corner of your REDs. A closed envelope indicating an unread message. It's from the collective. We were monitoring your every movement. Well done. You made it out. And brought 3 of them with you. We'll see what we can do with them. See if there's any way to put them together. And managed to run a trace on that alliance and bitch. You walked out of the room, yeah, but you kept her on the line long enough for us to be able to backtrace her signal. She's broadcasting from the top floor of Alliance and Corporate HQ, right there in the hills. Better yet, that was an insider connection. They weren't expecting you to have a collective backing you up. Sure, she set the bait, primed the trap, but didn't account for us. There's a little gif of Vera Coilings winking. We got into the system. We're downloading plans as they speak. Take the time to rest up. And then it's time to cut the head off this snake. Attached to the message is an audio recording. You don't have to open it as soon as you're done reading the message. It opens itself, dragging the little picture of a music note into the center of your RED, expanding, and the sound waves begin to reverberate across your vision. It's a voice, Mrs. Leah's voice, the CEO of Alienson. They thought those NFTs were for the general market. Could you imagine what TG Labs and ACGS would do if we started peddling that stuff? A million lawsuits waiting to happen, and it'd be worth more and it'd be more trouble than it's worth to censor them all. No. Fragmented minds to fragment the nature of reality. You see, our world, like the wired one, is bound up in lines of code. The laws of reality are expressed in code written by something incomprehensible. And we're going to ascend. Profit. They think our motivation is profit? No. We're going to rip the collective unconscious of humanity off this mortal coil and ascend to whatever lies beyond, to make contact with something greater than ourselves, to cast the old gods aside and embrace the love of the new. You all advance to 5th level, your final level up, and for those of you who have debts, 2,000 creds are paid directly into your debt. 1,500 creds are deposited into your account so that you may make these final purchases that you need to gear up for the final mission, for the finale of our campaign. Kitty, roll me a d4.
Sure.
Mhm.
1.
1.
Ooh.
Go ahead, roll me a d6.
Uh-oh. 1.
1.
Jesus.
Oh no.
Is this good or bad?
Things coming undone.
The newsreels are aflame with the latest news story. The 616 under siege. Police and Set Corps lay siege to the 616th Legion worshippers of a nameless disc-like deity. The cult activates sleeper agents who begin killing citizens at random, causing mass panic. And somewhere beyond the lines of code that encapsulate the city of Psy and the reality within which it resides, their nameless deity listens and begins to stir. The simulation begins to break down. Its subjects reach out to it, calling to it, piercing its dreams. And it prepares to answer them. thank you for watching Neon Genesis Evangelion episode 25. Episode 26 will make no sense.
It made complete sense.
It did. But
Before
mine won't.
we close the
Yep.
curtain, Kitty turns to the others. I've got a place where we can hide out till we're ready to strike. And I can guarantee they won't find us if you want to go that route. It's your call. But if you want to follow me, keep those hazmat suits on because you'll need them.